things I can't seem to let go, and I feel like I'm all on my own. And some days it gets worse and the memories hurt, but I hope that one day I let go. I know I get mad, too mad, and I don't wanna do that. It hurts bad and I hate when the mood lasts. I move fast and I try hard to move past all the pain, cause I'm looking for a bright side in my mind, cause you only got one life. Need advice from the future, am I alright? If this fight feels like something from your own life, then one time let me hear you sing.
Sometimes things will get hard and leave you covered in scars, but I know I could get out of this. And I feel like life moves way too fast to hold on to things from the past. So goodbye to things I'll never miss.
We don't run, no, we stand together and hold on through the angry weather. We all want to make something better, I know. And my trust has been torn and shredded, it's been rough, but I try to forget it and move on to a place where I can grow. It's time, not holding back, I'm coming and coming fast. I know what I wanna have, the dream is to detach from all that is bad, the things holding me back, the people that didn't last, the evil that kept me mad. This is my life, it's my time to do things just how I like. My runway for the lights, I'ma take flight, and my God is my purpose and my fight. If you feel the same, let me hear you say.
Sometimes things will get hard and leave you covered in scars, but I know I can get out of this. And I feel like life moves way too fast to hold on to things from the past. So goodbye to things I'll never miss. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and let's get the show started. I got my medicine all rolled up, ready to go. Smell it. Smells good. and yeah, today's more like chill out, relax, probably watch some news. It's been one hell of a week. I mean, I had a great week, but a lot of roller coaster, a lot of roller coaster, like I call it the roller coaster ups and downs. I had a good little vacation for about 4 days and had a great time. Always have a great time during vacations. But then you had, the death of Hogan and, Ozzy. And like yesterday, I didn't come on live because I couldn't see. Um, yeah. And the reason why I couldn't see is because I went to the freaking eye doctor. I had an eye doctor's appointment and I didn't know they were going to dilate my eyes. And when they do that, I can't see shit. I couldn't see nothing. And there was no way I was going to be able to do a show because the light was bothering my eyes. So that was scrapped. Yesterday was scrapped. And I apologize for that. But I had to go get the eyes checked and order new glasses. And you know how it is. If you wear glasses or contacts, you got to go in there and constantly get these tests done. And yeah, it's just a never ending story with that. That's for sure. But I really wanted to come on yesterday, but I couldn't see. I couldn't see, so I apologize. Um, but I'm here today, and it's kind of like a more like a mental check with my audience and my peoples to see how you guys are feeling and how you feeling today and how you've been feeling lately. Um, it's good to talk about things like that and talk about your feelings and talk about what you're going through. Um, you're more than welcome to share. We are going to watch some news. I don't have nothing lined up because I didn't set anything up. So this is going to be like whatever I see, it's what we're going to watch on YouTube. But I wonder what's been going on in the world of YouTube. Um, we still got dealing with the Hogan, the Hogan's death, and it's pretty sad, and it is what it is. We were born to die, but this. So I could say it's like it's we're born to die, and one day we are going to meet our maker, and we are going to go to places of unknown places. Who knows where we go after life? I surely don't. I'm not going to assume. I could have a thought of possibly how where I would like to be and go, and but we don't know. And that's like the multi-billion-dollar question is like I would say more like the trillion-dollar question: where the hell we go after we serve our time here on this planet, and once we're done, where do we go? I believe we get back into energy, and we're just back into the energy phase of life. It's just it's a I just call it like one big roller coaster ride. And you're here one day and tomorrow you're gone. And it's sad. It's just truly is a sad week. And I had a good start of the week. I had, like I said, I had a good little 4 days off and went to Niagara Falls and did a lot of beautiful things. And yet you get to this point where you have tragedy happens not once but twice. And now we're just trying to figure out our own lives and where we're going and what is going to be our outcome. Like, where do we go next? You know, this the news is very light. I'm looking here. It's like, I mean, there is some news. I mean, there's a deadly dorm gunfire shooting at a University of New Mexico. Does it surprise me? Not really. Doesn't surprise me, but we can check out that story because I definitely want to check out that story. Um, let's see. I don't know if I want to go back to this Gaza stuff because it's like I don't know. I feel like we're in a merry-go-round when it comes to Israel and Gaza and what's going on over there. It's a mess that continues to happen, and there's nobody there to clean it up. It just continues to happen, and it's not good. Not good at all. But the news is kind of like on the light side of things. It's not that bad. Let me see. Trump's rips Europe on immigration policy. Stop this invasion. I mean, we could take a look at that. I would like to hear what Trump has to say on that. I don't care about what's going on with Hamas. Really don't care. Um, let's see. Anti-ICE activists face stark warning they will pay consequences. We could take a look at that. I wonder what consequences that's going to be. Don't care about that. Um, I don't know. Shocked me to my core. Cryptic post. Dan Bongino vows to reveal the truth. What is the truth? And what are you going to unveil that it has not been yet? And we could take a look at that story, but he's more of a too secretive type of person for me. Like I don't trust everything that Bongino has to say. His energy is he gives me mixed energy. He's a very secretive person, and he only goes after certain things and talks about certain things instead of going after everything. Let's see. That's way too long. I'm not gonna watch that. It's a type of torture. Hear what it's like inside alligator Alcatraz. Huh. CNN reporting on that. We could listen to CNN. CNN is a piece of shit, but we could take a look at that. Oh Lord, I do not want to watch that. That's a sad story. A boy found dead hours after being left unattended in hot car by human resources. Huh. Yeah, I could. I have a story about that. It happened to me one time. Um, but I can talk about that later. That story will always be in my head because it happened to me when I was a little boy. And it's a short, long but short story. I was left in a because my parents had me on a private school bus, and the private school bus, I kind of like fell asleep in the back of the seat, and no one checked the bus. And while she thought she was done with her route and everything, and come to find out that she forgot about me, and I was left inside the bus, and it was. Yeah, we'll talk about that more later. That was crazy when that happened to me. It's a very scary situation, that's for sure. But yeah, there's not that much going on really. I mean, it's impactful, big news. This is a stupid story here, but It's a crazy story. A Florida man arrested after beating up a golfer over slow play, deputies say. Wow. Talking about not having patience. Yeah, I lined up a couple of videos here for us to watch. So go ahead and bring it over here. Hey, Abby, how you doing? I just saw that you're here. Um, just get the news here set up. It does take me a moment to properly get this put together, and I hate when the videos start when you. I hate when the video starts when you open the window. It should start when you press play and not start automatically. I don't know what's the deal with YouTube with that shit because it's really like it's not good. It should start by you hitting play and not playing by itself. Because every single one I got to hit pause on it because it plays automatically and it just really sucks. Because then I have to start set up everything by. Okay, here we go. So let's go ahead and bring this over here. I got some medicine. I went this morning, actually today, to the dispensary, and I'm gonna light this one up before I start the video. Smells so good. There we go. It's nice and lit. You can see it's lit. Oh yeah, I'm ready for the show. All right, we're gonna watch some news, and if you want to share anything about how you're feeling today, you're more than welcome to in the chat. But we're gonna get to the news, and yeah, let's start with that golf story. That golf story is a little creepy. You gotta go play golf, and you want to have a relaxing time, and end up getting shot up. And let me see if this is the story. Let me check. No, this is the Mexican one. That's not the one. Well, let's start off with the Mexican then, because this is New Mexico. This is not Mexico. I don't even know if he's Mexican, but this is in New Mexico. So it's a deadly dorm gunfire shooting at University of New Mexico. Let's see what happened.
There was a deadly shooting on the campus at the University of New Mexico. Police now saying they have made an arrest after a 14-year-old boy was found fatally shot inside one of the dorm rooms. Take a look here at the video coming in from the scene. You can see it was a heavy police presence as the campus was wrapped in crime scene tape. Now, New Mexico State Police have released a news release here that has more. They do say on July 25th, which was Friday, the New Mexico State Police Investigations Bureau was requested to investigate a shooting at Mesa Vista Hall at the University of New Mexico campus in Albuquerque. At approximately 1:36 a.m., the police there responded to an alarm call at the hall. Upon arrival, officers said that they did observe, quote, broken windows and suspected blood. They also later received a phone call from a woman who had a family member on campus who heard those gunshots. Campus police then received another phone call from a health department that a 19-year-old male had come in with a gunshot wound and stated that he had been shot at the UNM campus. A UNM officer conducting a security sweep of those surrounding buildings said they made entry and located a 14-year-old man, or boy, I should say, who was dead inside one of the dorms. Investigators believe this was an isolated incident, they say, but out of a, quote, abundance of caution, a shelter in place was issued by the police to preserve any evidence there. Now, we do have a look at the suspect who has been taken into custody here, identified as John Fuentes by state police. Now, investigators were notified and later arrived on scene to take over the investigation. The initial investigation determined that the incident involved 4 people who were hanging out in a dorm room there on campus. Now, at some point, for reasons that are still under investigation, state police say, the suspect began shooting a firearm at the other people in the room. The 14-year-old victim was fatally shot while the other people inside, along with the suspect, fled from that room. The suspect, as you see right there, has been identified as 18-year-old John Fuentes. At around 2:30 p.m. on Friday, Fuentes was located and arrested. This was over by the state police in Valencia County, New Mexico. They say, quote, without incident. Fuentes was arrested and booked into the Metro Detention Center there. He does face charges of murder in the first degree, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, and evidence tampering. Again, the investigation is still active to determine exactly what happened here, but they do say that several people were in one of the dorm rooms when the suspect opened fire, killing a 14-year-old boy. That 14-year-old has not been identified, and it's not clear just yet why he was on campus. We'll keep you updated here as we do get additional information on this developing story here on Live Now from Fox.
My first question would be like, why is there a 14-year-old boy? Why is there a 14-year-old boy at our university? Is he that advanced? If he's that smart? Is he that brilliant? I mean, there are kids that are really smart that actually, very young college students, like very, very, very young, because they're so advanced in their brain and they're like super geniuses. But how does a 14-year-old boy hangs out with 18-year-olds in a dorm and then get shot, fatally shot? And another one, I guess, got injured or was somehow made it to the hospital with gunshot wounds. What the hell happened there? Like, what? I tell you, I'm rooting for the asteroid. It's coming. I'm telling you. I keep telling you, an asteroid is coming towards Earth. It is. They're starting to report on it little by little. They don't want to scare the masses, but there's a lot of objects that are coming into our solar system. They just discovered a third big object coming into our solar system, and will be passing by Earth, and not even close to Earth. It'll be more closer to like Saturn, down that area. But that could. I don't know if it could upset like the flow, and how we're traveling, and how did this object can possibly move as faster than how we are moving, and what caused these objects to come to our universe and to our atmosphere and to our area here. I don't know. It's a big explosion that's probably happened like way back in the days. Way before, like we're talking about thousands upon thousands, like maybe hundreds of thousands of years ago. And now is when all these fragments from that explosion is coming towards us and our universe. Like I've been telling you, I've been seeing and I've been having this feeling like an asteroid coming towards Earth. And I think that's when everyone's attention is going to be focused, and everyone's going to be scared, and everyone's going to pray at the same time. The one big awakening to let humanity know, and let them know that we are all fragile. We could all be gone like that quick. We are so lucky that we are alive right now, and that we are doing what I'm doing. This is beyond advanced, and I'm using magic on magic, because I believe everything here is magical. The camera that's capturing what I'm saying, and the microphone capturing what I'm saying, and the visuals from the camera, and beaming it through YouTube and into your devices from however you're watching me. It's magic. Okay, it's all magical. And the fact that we've gotten to this point in life and we're going to experience a lot of big things coming soon. Um, and we're all going to experience it together. And there's going to be a lot of more heartache. There's going to be a lot of more tragedies. There's, it's just how it is, you know. Like, I wouldn't go to no festivals, like music festivals. No way. You know, these festivals now. There's people taking needles into these festivals, and they're poking people while at the festival. You know, and all you need is one poke to get you seriously sick. And it's gonna be not so good times. I see more like tragedy happening. I see a lot more um, innocent people dying. Um, it's just gonna be very. 2025 is just not the year. Um, and it's because I know it's gonna sound stupid, but it is because of the instability of how humanity is right now. And what I mean by that is like there's humanity all around the world, right? We're all humans and we come from all parts of the world. And a lot of people infiltrated another area, like here in the United States. We got a lot of humans that from not from here transferred into here. And I believe a lot of these people that came here, a lot of them were mentally, sick. A lot of them were criminals and murderers, and not only that, but very sick individuals that have diseases. And they infiltrated our system here, and now they're passing those diseases on to those that are here. This is a playbook that's been played many times in the past. To conquer, all you need is a disease, and a disease that spreads, and a disease that kills. All you got to do is just wait it out and just wait in the backgrounds and just watch them all fall. And I think that's a play that has been played on us here in the United States. And not only the United States, but in Europe too. And you call this influx of illegal migration and illegal aliens coming through, and they're bringing their sickness with them. They're bringing all their diseases with them, and they're poisoning the individuals, of, let's say, the UK and United States and all around the world. It's just not here, but the migration is going on everywhere. And now we have a very bad, serious case of measles in the United States that is affecting a lot of young and old people. And the fact that you won't even know that you have it until like 5, 6 like days later. And then when you do figure out that you have it, it's too pretty much you're fucked. So they really want to like push these vaccinations for measles. I feel like it's another like cash grab, a prime opportunity, for cash grab. But I think who played that big role into that is the pharmaceutical companies pushing, like, who's funding these illegals to get into these areas like the United States. Who's because they had how they survive. How did they survive coming here? They have to trek very long distance to get here. And who's funding all this? And I just something tells me like pharmaceutical, people like Bill Gates and Soros, and they think they're doing good for the planet, and in reality they're just trying to destroy it. And it's all because of selfishness. It's a lot of selfish people in this planet. A lot of entitled individuals that are self-entitled, that everything has to go their way because it's their way or the highway. And I'm like, well, you can drop my ass off right here because I ain't going that way. It's just, that's how I am. I always go against the grain. But there's going to be really, really bad things are going to be happening. And I'm just here to witness it. Yeah, I'm a spectator. We're all spectators. And whatever happens, happens. And we witness it and then we talk about it. It'll be part of the show. We'll put it part of the news. But life is sensitive and life is short. And if you make the wrong choices, there are consequences. And the fact that we're dealing with a lot and we don't know all of it, it's what's really scary. That's the real fear, the unknown, like things that you don't know that's going on right behind you. It's just creepy. All right, let's go to another story here. Let's go. Let's see. Let me see. I wanted to see the one with the one I talked about earlier with the golf. Here it is. Okay, let me set this up here, and let's watch this story. This is crazy.
All new at 10, a golf course beatdown. This man is accused of pummeling another golfer for playing too slowly at a course in Kissimmee.
Yeah, the victim now has stitches and a broken bone. Fox 35's Manny Martinez is live.
He didn't kill him. Okay, we just beat him up.
Say this really escalated quickly here.
It did. John, you play golf. You know pace of play is contentious, right? When there's a jam, the person in front feels rushed and the person behind, they feel stuck. Well, it can lead to arguments on the course, and in this case, deputies say it just went too far.
It was supposed to be a calm day on the course, but what Osceola County Sheriff's deputies say happened was anything but. They say Jason Hughes repeatedly punched another golfer on the course because Hughes was upset with the pace of play.
If you linger around for a few minutes, let that guy go through, by the time he's done and you play the hole, you won't be behind him anymore.
Deputies say Hughes told his victim more than once to hurry up. This report says the victim talking with a friend on the green was the boiling point, with Hughes wailing on the man shortly after being told to calm down.
If you're out here trying to be aggressive, you picked the absolute wrong game to choose. You should go do like jiu-jitsu or kung fu or something.
Hughes and his playing partner drove off before deputies got there. The victim was driven to the hospital. Deputies say he was bloodied, left with a broken bone beneath an eye socket, and had to get stitches on his cheek.
There's no need to be fighting out here. You could easily call the shop. Somebody will come out and speak to the person, whatever the case. But it should never turn to violence.
It happened last month. The golf club helped deputies nab Hughes with surveillance video. The club also gave deputies the name on the credit card the suspect used to check in. It's not the first fight at a golf course on which we've reported. Back in February, a judge ruled a dentist acted in self-defense in a fight with a doctor.
It's called courtesy and manners. I don't take it too seriously.
We're out here to have fun and enjoy it.
Hughes is charged with aggravated battery causing bodily harm. At last check, he's still in jail, but he could walk out soon. The judge set bond at $2,500. And one of the
$2,500, you might get that out.
The suspect can't play golf on any course open to the public.
Yeah, $2,500. That's nothing.
Well, this man.
Let me see. Oh, this is the grandparents shooting. We could watch this. I don't know why it keeps. You see, I turned off autoplay, so I don't know why autoplay continues to pop up, which is getting annoying. Let's watch this one.
Is accused of shooting and killing his elderly grandparents. It happened last night in West Melbourne. A neighbor was also shot when that grandfather ran next door to get help. Fox 35's Randy Hildreth is joining us live in that neighborhood. So, Randy, the neighbor survived, and you spoke with her family today.
Yeah, good evening to you, Luann. The family is thankful that she survived and is doing okay, but their hearts are with the victims, the White family. So Mr. George White lived here. Family? They say he ran across the street to their front door, ringing it to get their attention and to get help. They say they brought him inside, called 911, and then bullets started flying.
What?
They're
Holy smokes.
Terry French counted up the bullet holes in the front of his house off Washington Street.
There's 5 of them, 5, 6 of them.
Recounting the chaos and tragedy of Wednesday night.
You just react.
He says his family was sitting in their front room when their neighbor, George White, showed up asking for help. His wife, Mary White, had just been shot, and deputies say their grandson, 22-year-old Jeremiah Campbell, was responsible.
Grabbed George's arm and pulled him in, and then shut the door and locked it.
French says his daughter started dialing 911 and then bullets started flying into their house. Investigators say Campbell had come across the street for his grandfather next.
Bam, 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 bam. My son took off for the kitchen. My daughter took off for the laundry room. My granddaughter stood up and took off for the hall. That's when she got hit in the back of the leg.
French says he got down on the ground to crawl away and saw George get hit.
Right where you are. And he turned and started heading to the hallway. That one there, one of them hit him in the back.
French says he's been neighbors with the Whites for over 30 years and now thinks a lot about the fact that George came over to him in his moment of terror. He says he's angry that their lives ended this way.
He's been such a good neighbor and a friend to me, and for anybody to want to kill him would just, I would like to know why.
Yeah, like me too.
And Campbell is being held with no bond. He is charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 1 count of attempted second-degree murder, and shooting into an occupied residence. Now, coming up new at 6, I'll tell you more about what we've learned about Campbell's background and the questions law enforcement officials still have as they comb through what happened.
Let me pause this. Okay, we know you're done with your report. Why only 2 counts of second-degree murder? And then attempted second-degree murder. This charge doesn't even make sense right here. The 2 counts of second-degree murder. Why is it second degree? Why is it not first-degree murder? He murdered them. He shot them to death. How is this is not a first-degree murder? Like, you see, this is the games that we deal with. I don't know. The justice system really is fucked up here in the United States. How is this case a second degree murder? I don't know. I'm not high enough for these stories. I'm really not high enough for the stories. It makes me mad. You know, that's what it just does. It just makes me mad. Because these people, like, every day, that's like people don't learn. It's like every day we live a life every day. And how come we make the same fucking mistakes every fucking day? And like in the future, everyone's making mistakes. That's making horrible decisions to kill another. It's just we never learn. Like, never learn. Every day you'll see there's always someone being killed, someone being murdered, it's always some shit. Like, it's like, how do people like get to that level? It's just beyond me. It's like that's why we don't deserve to live sometimes, you know? It's like I'm rooting for the asteroid because like I don't think humanity deserves Earth, you know? We take it for granted, you know, we take everything for granted. We don't really care. We say we do, but in reality, it's like if you have like 99% of society has gone mad and 1% is, you know, on the good, it's very small. And, you know, we're going to go out with them at the same time. You know, it's just weird. I don't know. It's crazy. And why would he shoot his grandparents? Like, what did they tell him? That they're not gonna give him like any money? Like what they said, you're not in the life, you're not in the will, you're not in the will, you little bitch. You've been acting like a fucking asshole, so I ain't giving you ain't part of the will. And he got pissed, and I mean, what could possibly set off this person It's is it a kid? I don't. How old was this kid? Is he? He's an adult, right? I mean, this is. Look at his face. Look at his face. Does that face look any positive? Like, I'm just saying. Help me make it make sense. How? Let's back out of this real quick. This kid right here, or young adult, whatever he is. Look at that face. Look at the eyes. Like, it's not even. Like, this kid has mental issues. I'm just saying because I'm just like analyzing him, and just by looking at him, I could tell he's very off. There's something off with him. He's far gone. I mean, the eyes don't even line up. Like, they're kind of like slanted this way, and then like his whole face is just really like a lot of anger, a lot of hate in it. Like, you look at the chin, the clenching of the jaw. Like, look at the narrowness of this face. This is, man, wow. This kid was just wow. Tell you right now, this I guess they didn't want to give him money for a haircut. I mean, what could have set him off to the point that he has to kill his grandmother and grandfather? And the fact that the grandfather ran for help, right? And as he's running in for help, he goes into the house. Shots are fired into the house, and a shot gets into the back of the grandfather, killing him inside that house. Ooh. You feel that energy? Like, you feel that negative energy? Look at that face. Look at that whatever that is. It's very, very dark. I know when I see evil, and that right there, he's in a dark spot. He's in a very dark place. He's at the place that he doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's already like cashed out. He's done. And the fact that they charge him with second-degree murders makes no sense. Yeah, very demonic. Yeah, Chloe, you're 100% too. You're 100%. Yeah. Very demonic. Very like. And this is something he's been dealing with for a very long time, and it's just how do you get to a point that you have to get a gun and shoot someone? It could be anyone, but then shoot your grandparents. I mean, my grandparents were like, well, my dad's side were okay. I have my godfather, like my not godfather, my grandfather, and then I have a grandmother, but then he had remarried, so I had like a step grandmother, whatever you want to call her. She was a mess. It's just, it's my family is just really fucked up. They're really fucked up people. And I myself, like, how are you feeling today? I could answer too. But my family side, like my dad's side, it's just they're really fucked up people. And there's some that are very smart and very they got their shit together, but it's like they're all like fucked up people. And I don't know how I became a part of that family without being a part of that family. It's just really weird, you know? And I'll talk about more of that. I'll have to do an episode just talking about that shit because and both sides of the family, like my mom's side of the family, don't win any trophies either. The only ones, and there's only like two people that I truly respect and I truly loved, and they're not here. And that's both of my grandmothers from each side, from my father's side and from my mother's side. Both of my grandmothers loved me to death. They loved me so much. Oh my goodness. Especially my mom side, like my mom's mom, she adored me. She beat up my mom because my mom threatened to hit me, and my grandmother overheard and came over and beat up my mom. Yep. And I'll never forget. It happened in when we and that day I was young. I was about 5, 6 years old. I was young. And my mom was threatening to hit me, right? And this is why, right? We went to the park, we went to the Bronx Zoo that day, and we had a great time. It was everyone had a good time, and then after we left the park, right, and we went to everyone was in agreement to go into this little park that's next to the Bronx Zoo. There's like another a park for the neighborhood, but it's like right next to the Bronx Zoo. So we went to that park, and as we go to that park, remember this is summer, so they have all the water like fountains and water like cool down areas like up and running. So my mom tells me don't get in the water, that she doesn't want me in the water. So for me not to get in the water, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go in the water. So my mom leaves, right? And my mom leaves me with my grandmother. And my grandmother's like, why are you not in the water? And I told her, mom doesn't want me in the water. She's like, get in the water. I was like, but she's like, if you don't get in the water, then I'm going to hit you. I got in the water. My grandmother, I saw those forearms. They were bigger than Hulk Hogan's. I'm telling you right now, like the biceps of my grandmother was like, nope. I went in the water. I went in the water and had a good time until my mom came back screaming, I told you not to get in the water. Why are you getting in the water? Right? So she grabs me by my arm. She's taking me like to put on my shoes, and my grandmother sees all this, and my grandmother's like, get your hands off of him. And this is like in Spanish. This is all in Spanish, okay? And my grandmother was like, I told him to get in the water, but I told him not to go in the water. It's like, and my grandmother's like, what? Beat up my mom, pretty much beat her, like bitch slapped her a few times, and send her on the taxi and send her back to the house, like literally. And I got scared as hell. I was traumatized. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I just saw my mom get beat up. And I'm like, my grandmother beat her up, and my grandma's like, I got you. Like I trust me, nothing's gonna happen to you. And I was like, okay. That's like it was so real, like so like wow, and I'll never forget that. I never forget when my grandmother beat up my mom. My mom thinks that I don't remember things that from the past. I remember everything. Everything. And this was in it was in New York. It was in the Bronx, New York. And I used to spend many summers in the Bronx, like a lot of summers. I was there for the summertime, and I would be there with my aunt and my cousins and my grandma. My grandma always, oh my gosh, when she used to get me. Oh my gosh, she used to spoil me. My grandma spoiled me. She gave me like money for candy. She bought me like I liked it these they were kind of like styrofoam airplanes. Like you built them, you put them together. They're styrofoam, but they had all different types of planes, and they were like some were like $1, $2. The real good ones were like more expensive. You're going to like $3 range, and that's very expensive in the 80s. um so I used to get the smaller planes and so forth, and my grandmother got me into that, and she used to buy me my ice cream. She used to it was like a big icy type of thing. And my grandmother used to take care of me when I was up in New York, and that's why she beat up my grandma. Like she beat up my mom. Oh no, I got more Bronx in me than AOC does. Oh shit! And I wasn't even born in the Bronx. I was born in Miami, but I spent probably more time in the Bronx than AOC. Oh shit! 444 because you're a curse breaker. Yeah, it's just let me see. Are you? I don't know why my vision changed. I came in. Let me go on my phone because I'm trying to see the television. I had my eyes dilated yesterday, so my vision is still a little fucked right now from the medications because they put like 3 medications in my eyes. So when I came out of the fucking doctor's office, I was like, my fucking eyes. That's why I hate going to the eye doctor because they like torture me there. It's like that's not even fucking fun. It's not fun going to the eye doctor. It's just more torture. They put things in your eyes and they're poking near your eyes, and I'll tell you. Um, Hold on, Chloe. Let me go to my channel. There's only 2 people watching. I like the screen the screenshot I put up there, like the picture. It's very cute. I had that saved on my phone. You're the generational curse breaker. Yeah, I am, because on both sides of the family, I'm like the black sheep. I'm the black sheep of the family, but I'm more intellectual, more spiritual, and more gifted than all of them put together. And that's why I'm so distant from them, because I'm not falling into that trap. You know, that the family trap, that's real. And they like to like suck your energy. Like they it's not like equal. It's like they take and never give. You know what I mean? And that energy is I'm very sensitive, and I don't like, not to be rude or anything, but I don't want to fucking deal with your problems. You know what I mean? It's not my problem. Why are you passing it on to me? It's just I have nothing to do with it. That's anything you want to do. That's upon you. It's your life. This is you do what you do. You know, it's like I can't like handicap everybody into my life. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not. It's family could be such like they'll drain your energy. They will. Like and it's like, and you can't choose your family because that's what's put, forward towards you. And for me, I'm like I'm like, y'all can stay over there. I'm okay over here, and I'm just moving forward. I'm just not gonna be tied in, and I just feel like they're piranhas, and they don't really care, because if they really cared, they would come looking for me. They would come try to talk to me. Not one call, ever from my dad's side of the family, from anyone over there. Not one. Not one call. One call. Not one. And from my mother's side, the same thing. No calls. No nothing. So, you know what? I don't go chasing after nobody. Like I don't play that game. They don't want they don't want attention, they don't want to talk, then be well with yourself, and whatever happens to you happens to you. It's just that's your faith. That's your way. I'm not the anchor of your ship. I'm not holding anybody back. I cut the chains, you could go. you know So just be careful with family. Some families are very loving. I've been to other people's families, and man, it's so positive and so happy and such good time, especially like over the weekend. I was with family, of my partner's family, and everything was so smooth, everything was so nice. We had a good time, even though there was some drama. There's always drama. There's always some kind of drama. There's always one that's gonna fuck it up, you know. And the fact that the guy looks like from the Three Stooges doesn't help. You know what I mean? Literally, the haircut from the Three Stooges. But and that's not like talking bad about him or anything like that, because he really does look like the guy from the Three Stooges. I'm like, look at his picture. Look, it looks just like him. It's like he's the Spanish version of him. But there's some drama. But other than that, I had a good time. And then of course seeing the zombies and a lot of prostitutes. Oh my goodness, so many of them, and the doblaos. The bended people. I call them the doblaos, and they it felt like a Michael Jackson Thriller like video. I thought it was on a music stage, and Thriller was being remade because they were all like, it was just really weird in Rochester. I'm just saying, after like, I would say when the sun sets, the it reminds me of this movie called Vamp, but it feels like the zombies and the vampires and all the creepy people, the night walkers are out there, and it's scary, you know. But I had a great time out there, and you can feel the energy. I'm very sensitive to energy, so I could tell who's who, what's what, who's the problem, who's not, and that's what's so good about me and what I do as energy reading. I can read people. I can read the room, and I can read the energy. And I can read like everything that's happening. It's like happening within me, but energy. I feel it as energy. So I know if it's a good, safe place, or if it's a place that I don't want to be at. My body will tell me, my energy will tell me, look, this is not a place you want to be here. Like this is a waste of time. I won't be there. But if it's something that's fun, it's beautiful, the good energy, and good, like everything's all like sinking in. Hell yeah, I want to be there. I want to relax. I want to have a good time. But yeah, let me come to the chat here. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me answer your question. Are you a firstborn son? Yes, I am a firstborn son. I'm actually the first boy of the family side because they had nothing but girls for a long period of time. There was just like girls coming out, and then I came out as the first boy of that family side. Yeah. So technically, yeah, I was the first for my father, and then the first boy. And I think there were like, how many cousins females before me? I know there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. think there were like 5 of them. I know one of the girls was from an extra, like he had an affair, and he ended up getting this lady pregnant, and she kept the baby, and it was a girl, and that's a whole different story. That was some fucking. But my grandfather was like, oh, like you couldn't talk shit about him because he's so good, right? The guy was an alcoholic. The guy was an alcoholic. Because of him is when I learned like not to drink. It's just stop drinking after his death and stuff, because he was a pure alcoholic. He used to drink all the time, and he had like mood swings, and he was a real asshole to me. So didn't really buy me anything for Christmas. Like as a kid, never bought me anything for Christmas. So yeah, he's a true asshole. But yeah, grandmas are badasses. My grandma's and my dad's side, my grandmother from my dad's side, because he remarried. So you gotta understand, my grandfather on my dad's side remarried, and then had a couple of kids with her, and then had an affair with someone, had a kid with that lady, and then he ended up still going back with the second one, the one that he had married, and stayed with that one until he died. So yeah. So I think I'm the sixth one, the sixth child. Oh Lord, the sixth child of that family tree of cousins. There are 5 females before me. This kind of reminds me of some paranormal activity shit, right? Because I'm like the first boy, and all the spirit and how the energy. Yeah, that's basically like me. So that's wild. Yeah, I feel like grandma is your guardian angel, even while alive on Earth. Yeah, I feel my grandmother's presence all the time. She was real cool with me. Like they really loved me a lot. Both of them. Both of them. Those are the only 2 that really loved me. I never met my grandfather of my mom's side. What I know what happened to him happened before I was born. So I wasn't even part of the picture. But I think my grandfather, he was in an accident where he got hit. I think he got ran over and killed. Um, a car ran them over. So he was. So I don't even know my grandfather's name. That's how wild that is. I don't know my grandfather's name. On my mom's side, I don't even know who he is. I never even know what he looks like. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, you gotta distance yourself. I mean, towards my family, I haven't seen or spoke to most of them for 25 years. Yeah, that's what happens. Like family, they go ghost, right? And then it's like I'm not gonna go chasing. I don't chase after anybody or anything. It's just if I go chasing, I'd rather go chasing for the paranormal and go after a spirit and speak and communicate with them through my gifts. But yeah, everything was the Spanish version. Yes, especially I'm just relaying it in English, but everything that had happened was in Spanish. So imagine it's like the Spanish. It was like Telemundo style. It was crazy. My family, yeah. Yeah, I like beautiful families that are like really like cool and positive. They get together and they do cookouts, and we I have felt that energy before from my stepfather. My stepfather's side, like I was close with my aunt, my step aunt and uncle. Peter and everybody else there, and my grandparents, my step grandparents, which was because my mom remarried, so my stepfather's parents, well, they became my step grandparents, and they were very lovely. Oh, those were very lovely people. The like my like he's not here with us anymore. He passed on a few years back, my grandfather, and he was one that really truly loved me. He loved me to death. Oh my goodness. Oh, that man was so nice to me. He was really, really cool with me, and he always made me smile. He always gave me attention. He was always checking to make sure I was okay. Like, yeah, he's the one I really missed the most, I think, out of all of them, because he was super cool with me, and uh yeah, it's crazy. We got Christmas 5 times as a kid. We get 5 gifts, and yet we're only allowed to pick 2 for ourselves, and the other 3 had to be given away. Oh, but that's cool though. I like that idea. That's a cool idea. I mean, it sucks because they're like five, five. It's like 5 gifts, and then you gotta choose, pick 2 of them. Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks because the other ones they probably give away are freaking really cool too. So that would piss me off too. But that's how you learn, to be more humble. Study there. He didn't. He died in an accident when my mom was 18. Yeah, that's like the same story. Like I think my grandfather died, like it was an accident. He got hit. He got hit by a car. That I know of. He got hit by a car and he died. And my mom, I believe she was at a young age when that happened. So, but I never got to meet him. So I don't even know anything about him, and I can't ask my grandmother because my grandmother's passed on. So I think that story is just gonna possibly maybe have just a stop to it. Here's something else going on: a mass stabbing. I just got a report: mass stabbing, Traverse City Walmart. There's a mass stabbing happening in Michigan. This is a mass casualties going on in Michigan. Mass stabbing. Yeah, I'm getting breaking news right now from my phone. Is blowing up. There's a mass stabbing going on at Walmart. Remember, I just said stay away from fucking people and about poking people and the knives and stuff. And as I'm speaking about it, there's something happening with people being mass stabbed at a location where people are there together. I was just talking about this. Oh Lord, it's breaking news right now. So let me see if I could pick up a news feed, live news feed. This is crazy. I was just literally saying, goodness gracious, give me a second. I'm gonna find a news feed that I could use. Give me one sec. I'm just trying to find it. It's breaking news right now, so there's not many that are yeah. I don't know. Let me see. Give me one second. I am just looking. I'm working my mouse overtime. Well, we can watch Agenda Free TV. I mean, Agenda Free TV is pretty cool. And JLR investigates. He's okay too. I think we're gonna go with the. Give me one sec. I'm gonna get the Agenda TV thing here. Okay, give me one sec because this is live. This is happening. People being stabbed at Walmart. Switch it over to this side here. Let me hit play on here. Can we get play?
Entries. Hang on a moment.
All right.
7512, your location. Clear 7531, your location.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I love my grandfather. My step-grandfather, oh my God, I love that.
Give me one moment. Sorry, I just kind of rushing on the air here. So let me just do a couple quick things here.
So there's a mass stabbing reported at a Walmart in Michigan. This is like breaking news right now. Not even the media. This is happening right now.
No weapons. So it sounds like everybody's going to be intoxicated.
What I need to do is pull up the scanner replay. I think that's going to be the best bet.
Central 963-7511, sounds like there are firearms in the house. They're going to be in the same room with the RP. Nothing's been brandished. Sounds like the kids do not have access currently.
Let's listen to the scanner replay. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't hear what's...
360 just called back in contact with the subscriber. Disregard.
I'm going to show you a map of where this is too. If you give me 2 seconds.
We're going to be listening into this one. Actually, let me make them little. So give me 1 sec here. There you go. I don't like the way that looks. Let me change the globe thing because it looks kind of weird. Weird. For sure. There we go. The other one I look so weird.
There's Traverse City right there. Traverse City.
I don't like
Michigan.
that one.
Now there is a Walmart down here. Where's the Walmart? I don't want to jump to conclusions about which one it was. I don't even know if that's in Traverse City right there. All right. Let me I'm going to start playing the replay of the scanner so we can hear some of that.
Replay it. This is breaking news now. People being stabbed at a Walmart in Michigan.
Let's do that. Now, there is something there. Let's see here. Zoom.
I mean, they sell a lot of knives there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just grabbed the knives from the shelves and just started stabbing people.
Oh, I see.
You can't trust people nowadays, you know. When I go to Walmart, I go like at 6, actually like 7 in the morning. I go to Walmart.
Scanner, I think, is the audio comes out of 1 ear.
Fuck that. I go to Walmart at 7 in the morning when it's nice and empty. I don't go in there when there's a lot of people. I always go at 7 in the morning.
Sorry. It's a little confusing because I have the live scanner on and then I have the recording on.
No, I don't have that piece. But I when you start with your website and you get your stuff up and going, I could possibly get it from you. Maybe that'll give you some incentive to
I'm trying to go
get your site
find
going
stuff on
and
the
get your
scanner
business
replay.
going. But I'm getting breaking. That's why I'm like, I broke into this because it's breaking news.
Okay. Are you guys listening? All right. So this is a scanner replay, and they just said multiple victims. So on the scanner replay, again, I'm using the scanner replay to try to find out what exactly happened here. We have the live scanner on too, but let me just keep playing the replay.
Main entrance on the produce side, I have 2 patients. I need units inside Walmart, got multiple victims.
Hear that? Yeah.
Central Metro Delta. Do we have an entry command posted up here? Central, I'm at my house. I forgot you. Send Travis. We're gonna head towards Walmart. Copy. My son get low for location. Central Walmart, Delta 10. Individual there, Georgie KSM. Push register that address. Another victim. I got one. Nothing threatening. She just.
All right, hold on. Hey guys.
She doesn't have the email if you would like to give direct TX, so she can email it to you.
That's the live scanner. Hey guys, Intel point AZ Intel found this. AZ Intel found a post from police. So hang on a moment here. Let me show you this. Thanks to AZ Intel for finding this. There you go. Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Office is investigating a multiple stabbing incident at the Walmart in Traverse City. The suspect is in custody. Details are limited at this time. Information en route to the scene and details will be posted on these two sites, 7th and 6th District, as they become available. Please avoid the area as the investigation is ongoing. Hang on a moment here. All right. We don't know how many.
People are just dying left and right.
And I don't know what happened exactly. That's why I was listening to the scanner traffic. I'm going to put on the scanner replay again.
By the bakery with an evisceration and a tourniquet applied to the arm, which you can time stick them by the bakery. 520, we got one tourniquet applied. Pharmacy, another victim by the milk section.
Hear that? They just said a victim by the milk section. Terrible.
31. So it's getting a real thing. We have one TQ applied, one tourniquet applied. Clear evisceration, bakery is free. Walk the perimeter inside. Can you get a hold of 7501? Advising of the mass attack. Walmart in Traverse City. I'm getting witnesses outside saying that there might be two assailants, and we only have one in custody. Just be advised. There are possibly two assailants.
So on the scanner, they were saying possibly two assailants, but right now the police is saying that the suspect is in custody, suggesting there is one stabber. He just said 3 victims by the pharmacy. So again, just to get information, we're replaying the scanner traffic.
There's like 4 people already?
And this scanner traffic, just so you know, what time zone are they in Traverse City? Hang on one second here. They are in Eastern time. So this scanner traffic is from roughly, I want to say about an hour and a half ago. Traverse City, Michigan, it says Eastern time. Okay.
Can you get a hold of 7501? Advising of the mass attack. Walmart in Traverse City. I'm getting witnesses outside saying that there might be two assailants, and we only have one in custody. Just be advised.
Again, one assailant, believe it or not.
702 from what is you? Cleaning control. 3 victims by the pharmacy. Okay, 3 mile area. So if you need anything. And shoes, cargo pants, dark.
All right, hold on. Let me get the next. Let me just refresh the scanner feed here. I'm playing you the scanner replay here. So let's keep listening to the scanner replay and see what we hear.
702 from what is you? Cleaning control. 3 victims by the pharmacy. Okay, 3 Mile area if you need anything. And shoes, cargo pants, Clark. 7-4, have you looked at the green backpack here? One of the victims. Green backpack syndrome. Central 963. Can you meet me on link? We're holding on files now. Can you hold what you got? Yeah, here we're trying to read the notes, and I can't get a good number. I copy. If it's going to turn into an MC, we'll let the night soup know I'm going to be heading out here shortly, but she has MCI paperwork. Okay, Central did declare an MCI. Right.
Yeah, Walmart has a lot of coverage, video coverage. All right, let's jump off of this because this gives nothing but radio, and it's just gonna give me a headache. It gives me memories from back in the days when I used to work as a back patrol officer. All that radio, like there's a lot of traffic going on, a lot of things going on at the same time. But man, people getting stabbed up. That's why I've been saying, like, be careful. I just said it earlier, literally, like, and it just happens. It's like, listen to Rick. Just listen to me. That's all. When people listen, they'll be safe. Oh, great. I was just reading about a story here from TMZ. I saw Royal Caribbean Icon of the Seas crew member accused of stabbing co-worker before jumping from ship. The crew member who jumped to his death from Royal Caribbean Icon of the Sea earlier this week allegedly attacked someone before taking his own life. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ the man, a 35-year-old from South Africa, is accused of stabbing another crew member, a 28-year-old woman, also from South Africa, multiple times before jumping from the ship. Authorities are now investigating the motive for the stabbing, and while some rumors have claimed the two were married, we're told that hasn't been confirmed yet. Police say the woman who was alleged stabbed sustained multiple injuries from her upper body, but is in stable condition. It's unclear if she remains on the ship for medical care after the stabbing or if she was taken off the ship when they docked somewhere. As we told you, rescue workers recovered the man's body from the ocean Thursday night. A shocking clip shows his body being held by workers as they returned to the ship. TMZ also obtained a photo of the area where he jumped from, blocked off by caution tape. The ship finished up the 7-day Easter Caribbean voyage Saturday. Damn, it was right at the end of the voyage, too. And I want to do an Easter Caribbean voyage. That's wild. With plans to dock in Miami just a few hours ago. We reached out to Royal Caribbean for more information. So far, no word back. So, crazy times. Crazy times. There's a lot of weird things going on. Man, one of my favorite, because I used to watch Swamp People. It was a pretty good show on the History Channel. It's called Swamp People. Well, sad to say, today Junior Edwards has passed away. Wow. If you've never seen the show, you probably wouldn't even know who I'm talking about. But Junior, he was part of the Swamp People show, and this series took place around it started like in 2010, and he appeared over hundreds of episodes. Holy shit. It was a long while. And he's been part of that show, and he was a legend. He was a gator, one of the gator hunters. He used to go out, Swamp People. They go out and grab the gators, and yeah. So wow, wow. They don't say how old he was when he passed away. But he was dealing with some medical health issues, and he succumbed to those issues, but it doesn't say how old he was. But he doesn't look that old. Probably in his 50s, I would say. They don't really say his age here. Oh man. So how's your day going? Let me get to the comments here. But I don't go to Walmart. Yeah, they do have video, like a lot of cameras in that place. They have cameras everywhere. So they're gonna have that like in 4K. Because those cameras are really good. So they'll have the video coverage of all what happened. And they can follow like exactly how everything happened. But I only go to Walmart like early in the morning. Like it has to be early in the morning or when it's empty. Like in the weekend, I don't go to Walmart. I don't go to Walmart like Saturdays and Sundays. Hell no. I prefer early morning, like 7 in the morning. Because the one I go to, they open at 6 in the morning. So sometimes I'll be there like at 6:45, 7 in the morning, and it's very empty, and everything's like all the shelves are full because they overstock, like they stock overnight. So like early in the morning, I just go and it's like a full grocery store for me to just grab everything I need, and I get done a lot quicker. That's for sure. And my Walmart is a super Walmart, so it's like a huge one. It has like the clothing and all that stuff over on the other side with the toys and the kids, like the kids area, and then they have the electronics in the back, and then the clothing, the females, males, and then children. They have a pharmacy in there too. They have everything in there. But yeah, it's not my favorite place. I wish they had, a different concept. Because I mean, Walmart, it's going to be a place where it'll slowly die. Because people will get tired of it, and they're going to want something else better, bigger, better. And down the line, something big and better will come and overtake Walmart. I mean, Walmart's pretty big, but it's, Walmart could sink, and every company, has a weak point and a point where they have to sell off, and someone else comes and picks up. I mean, I remember back in the days we used to go to what was the name of that store? It wasn't like Walmart, because Walmart's more like all around, especially like the super centers now, the super stores. They include everything. They have like the side for the groceries, and then the side for like household stuff and clothes and all that stuff. Back in the days, we didn't really have that. I mean, we had Woolworths. Woolworths was pretty good, and well, their breakfast was delicious. I remember my mom, my dad, we just go like for clothes shopping. This was in downtown Miami. Before we used to go shopping, we'd go eat breakfast there, and then after we were done with breakfast, and then we would go and get whatever they were gonna get. Because I was so little. I was like, what, 3 years old, 4 years old. Like I was really young. I remember all that stuff. I remember I was about 3 years old. I was I was about 3, 4 years old, around 4 years old. I remember so many stories that I'm gonna have to reminisce another time, because there was an accident that happened there because of me. Because I pressed this emergency stop button on the escalator, and they didn't see if it was me because I was so slick that I just hid underneath the clothing rack, and they never knew it was me that pushed the emergency button, and the people just fell down. It was so mean, right? Confessions. But yeah, my mom knew. She beat me up. She saw me. She just like they didn't know it was me, so she got me out of that store, and she really shook me up because of that. But it was just wild times growing up. Me, oof. I was like Dennis the Menace growing up. Not really like Dennis, more like I was very curious what that red button did. I pushed it. Oh no, Rick. Lay up. I remember everything from my past. That's why people are like, damn, you have good memory. You remember shit. I say, yeah, I remember. It gets imprinted in the brain, and it comes up like flashes of like a video plays in my head. Oh, I wanted to see this thing here. I think I got still some news to watch, but I wanted to check out something here. Give me 1 second to set it up. Yeah, we have that Canadian wildfire smoke here in my area. In Connecticut, it was really dense today. Now they're saying the moon could be hit by a nearby Earth, like asteroid. Oh, we gotta take a look at that. You see, I'm telling you, everything I'm telling you today is coming like true, little by little. It's just everything's just happening. There was one thing I wanted to see. Is it this one? Yeah, this one. I want to see this story too. Okay, so I got 2 stories to set up for us to watch. Let me set this up real quick. This just came out now. This is like news that are just coming out. Let me just set them up so. But something's gonna hit the moon. I think my visions are coming true. You know, it's what it is. It's just I just say what I hear in my mind, and you know, just gotta check this out. Let's check this out.
The moon could be hit by an asteroid that initially appeared to be on a potential collision course with Earth. While new data suggests the planet is cleared from impact, but there are risks to satellites and future space missions if it strikes the moon.
The moon could soon have another iconic crater.
It will be the largest asteroid to hit the moon within, we think, about 5,000 years. It will carve out a crater about a mile across.
A recently discovered asteroid, dubbed 2024 YR4, was originally thought to be a threat to Earth 7 years from now. New data suggests our planet is safe, but the moon isn't out of danger.
So there's about a 4% chance that it could hit the moon. And that uncertainty will be removed the next time we can see it, which will probably not be until 2028. Essentially, the sun is preventing us from seeing it right now.
2024 YR4 is almost 200 feet across and could leave an impression on the moon similar in size to the meteor crater in Arizona.
So if YR4 strikes the moon on the near side so that we can see it, there should be a bright flash, and then those small moon rocks essentially will fall into the Earth's atmosphere, where they will produce a brilliant meteor shower.
There is no real danger to Earth, but it could impact our satellites and would put any astronauts exploring the moon under NASA's Artemis program at risk.
Oh, that's great. That's freaking crazy. I guess this is what Hulk Hogan was the first to believe a million times at his page. Okay, I'm not gonna watch that, but yeah, you got a freaking asteroid heading this way, and it's going towards the moon. You know, who knows if it comes this way? If it does come this way, you know, is it powerful enough to create some kind of impact? Maybe if it hits the ocean and creates a tall tidal wave, where would it land? I think the more danger would if it hits the ocean, because it'll create such a force, and now that water's going to come up, and a big tidal wave is going to come and just sweep everything. Just like my dream. But let's check out this next story here. It's a weird one. It's a weird one, so we always got to bring out a weird story. So let's watch this weird story.
Trying to figure out what happened to this mobile home near Claremont. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm Luann Sorrell.
And I'm John Brown. The home was vandalized by some heavy equipment. Now, it happened early this morning on Pine Island Road, and Fox 35's Hannah McKenzie is live in that area right now with the very latest on this story. So, Hannah, at this point, do we have any idea what happened here?
Well, John, Luann, this is the kind of destruction we're used to seeing with tornadoes, hurricanes, an explosion even. Fortunately, we are told no one was inside at the time of all this. But to answer your question, according to law enforcement, they have no leads on who did this or why. There may be a clue, though. There is a man's name spray painted on the other side of the home. So I looked that man up and I found him. He is a local here in the Claremont area. He's an elderly man. He tells me he just got out of the hospital. He also told me that he owns this piece of property, but he let a woman he knows move this trailer here and live here rent free. Now he says himself, law enforcement, that woman's family are all trying to track her down, but no one seems to know where she is or if she had anything to do with what happened here this morning.
Holy smoke.
Home sweet home? No longer. This trailer now torn to pieces. Skyfox drone getting a bird's eye view of the damage. A bed frame teetering over the edge. This chair now sitting in the front yard. Have you ever seen a scene like this before?
I have not seen a scene like this before.
It looks like it's been completely vandalized, like completely destroyed. Like somebody has smashed it to pieces.
Lake County deputies were called to Pine Island and Monte Vista roads just after 7 a.m. Friday. Deputy Stephanie Early says someone did this with some sort of heavy machinery.
Whoever did this is really angry. I hope I don't meet up with them.
Neighbors like Joe Burgess stopping by to catch a glimpse.
Makes me sick to my stomach.
Perplexed by it all, Bob Reese checked out the choice words spray painted on the side of the home.
You with wrong girl.
Let me see that again. Hold on, I had to pause it because I have to go back. You fuck with wrong girl. Super. What does it say there? Super. Is it super mom? No, I don't know. I don't know. That's such wow. Like
With wrong girl. I think it says super mom and then ped.
Evidence markers now litter the yard. Several positioned around large tire tracks. Kaylin Kurtzinger tells us she's seen construction equipment on the property.
The excavator has been there for months. It's not there now, but it has been there for a while.
It's not just the house. The destruction extends to this Ford Expedition.
The roof was smashed in and broken windows by heavy equipment.
A woman's dress hanging on the side mirror.
Oh,
nearby, some
damn.
more cryptic handwritten notes.
It looks like it could be some sort of revenge. Do we know anything about that? I don't have any information at this time.
It looks like it.
Now, again, we're told no one was inside during all of this, so no injuries have been reported. Of course, you can count on Fox 35 to keep
cameras?
you updated as soon as we learn anything else about this developing story. Live in Lake County, I'm Hannah McKenzie.
Hannah, that's fucking crazy, girl.
Today's weather continues. Storms cause heavy damage across several parts of the state.
Okay,
Amanda
let's go ahead and stop this because I don't know why it keeps autoplaying by itself. Even though I turn it off, but it keeps going by itself. So I apologize for that. But damn, that's wild. These are crazy ass fucking people, man. How are they gonna get an excavator? And the fact that it was in the property for a long period of time, that's just the only thing that's like weird. And let me see, what is this? Okay, let me close this out here. All right. Yeah, that story was so weird. It was so weird. I'm still baffled. Like, how could she? Like, I don't get it. Like, with an excavator, destroy the man's place, and then like, I don't know. I think because he was letting her stay there rent free, super mob. Yeah, right. Like super mob instead of super mom. Like, you see what I mean, Chloe? Like crazy shit like that. Like, it's like I don't get it. Why destroy the man's place? And especially he was in the hospital and shit. He's coming out to go home, and now he don't even have a home because they destroy it. It's like that's like revenge. That's crazy women. Like the crazy, like, I don't know, they get super crazy. I've seen it before because there's women that are bipolar, and they have their moments and they have their rage, and to rage that extremely high to be destroying someone's home, and not only one side, that bitch destroyed both sides. Both sides, and then the car too. It makes you wonder, like, what the is going on in this world? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's whoever's that person. I need to keep up with this story. We need to see who this chick is. I want to see what she looks like. Is it gonna be the typical, like, I don't know, Peg Bundy type looking? Remember the Bundys? She just like she went crazy and just went berserk. And if I can't stay here, nobody can stay here. Like, what the fuck gets you? And then the fact that she knew how to use the excavator, like, well, it was like very impressive. But I mean, damn, that's some venom right there. My goodness. Oof. How can people be like that? How can people get to that like part in their life to destroy somebody else's livelihood and home? That's scary. That's scary. I don't know. It's just, is it me? But that story really creeped me out. She creeped me out. She destroys this man's home. Like, Atlas update. Let me see. Is there a comet? Largest interstellar object to enter solar system. BP Earthwatch. Let me see what you want to check out BP Earthwatch because he's putting out also on this asteroid, comet, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, yeah, we're gonna watch this story too. I just ran across the story here. Oh, I wish I could have gone to this, but nah, it's all right. Okay. I'm gonna have to see this. Okay, let me set it up. Set it up. Let's watch BP Earth Watch. I there's several people that I follow, you know, and people that I could trust. You know, certain people that I listen to. He's one that I listen to. Let's check this out.
2025. As you're looking at the current JPL model of Comet Atlas, the one everyone's talking about. And the I guess the media name is Atlas 3I. The I is for interstellar object. One of only three. And this one is huge. Twice the size of ISUN. And that's still speculative. And ISUN was about 3.5 miles wide. This one they're saying could be 7 miles or greater. Okay. And ISUN was huge.
Chloe, that's so funny. Love and Marriage. I remember the theme.
Atlas,
it was so
technical
funny.
name is C2025 N1.
I need to roll another
If you're gonna
joint.
Look up this model. You're not going to get it by looking at this the I3 designation. It again C2025 N1 Atlas. This is today's date. What you're looking at now, and
There's
this
more
is important, and for the rest of the video, is the fact that Atlas is the white dot. I'll try to get it up without messing anything up here. And this is the orbit of Jupiter in orange. It has already crossed that orbit of Jupiter, didn't come close to it. And it's headed for the crossing of the orbit of Mars. Then it's going to recross under it and go back out into space. Not at this angle is deceiving because it's a very flat trajectory. If I can get this thing in here. Like this, coming in from the left, you see the white line up there to the left, and then going out under Neptune to the right. That's the path. And so what you're seeing is this thing is coming in from they don't know where, and the the gravity of the sun is going to make this slight bend in it, just like it does many other ones. But it's moving so fast and it's so large that it's not going to wrap it around in a big loop like we have seen others. Also, it's not as close to the sun as we've seen others. Many thought ISUN would hit the sun. I said, no, it's going to shatter into a million pieces, and it did. But I watched these very closely, and there's a way to pay attention to what's going on. But like I said, there's something a little different about it. It's not projected to hit our planet. But some people are thinking, even scientists, that it may not be a comet, maybe something with some form of intelligence. We don't know. But clearly here, we're not seeing it getting close to our planet, and that is not why I'm here anyway. What I'm talking about, or would like to talk about, is the fact that it's not acting quite right. Again, it's here.
Imagine it slows down and it comes to our planet.
Slightly
Some
above
people will freak
our
out.
ecliptic. See it coming above the orbit of Jupiter in orange, and then diving out through here. Again, this is the Earth. And as everything rotates, I checked it, nothing's really coming close to it. Not even Mars at that point. Mars will be past it. But it is moving very quickly. Now, remember, it is inside the orbit of Jupiter. Let me show you a couple of pictures. And by the way, there's something different on the specs to this model, too. I've watched too many. I noticed almost immediate. Like I said, they discovered this, I think, around maybe the first orbit on the data span was July the 5th. And somewhere right in there is when they discovered it. And this solution date, in other words, they're looking at the movement and everything, was yesterday, right there, July 25th. And they went back and used the number of orbits in that span. They're saying 872. And what they can look at a slight curve in an object moving, and then they backtrack that with computer software and everything and determine possibly what direction it came from, right? Now, this curve is that we saw as it comes by the sun, that's a mathematical curve. In other words, we're not quite sure the size. They do know it's traveling very quickly. But that curve, again, is a predicted curve. So we'll just have to watch that. But what's missing, guys, from this data is what's called condition code. Many of you have watched these comets with me, usually listed right in this area, and it's from 0 to 9. 0 means they know exactly where it's going. 9 means the condition code is very uncertain, so they just eliminate it here. So we don't know if they're very sure or very uncertain. But the condition code is not. Will that change and they start listing it? Maybe, but I've never seen it not listed. Just saying. Now, this is going back to Comet Ison. Many of you remembered. If you didn't, it was something to watch it. We had we had Comet Lovejoy coming through and all of that. But this was inside the orbit of Jupiter. I have, and I'll show you where I clipped the bottom of this image, the text on it, and I'll pull it up next. But anyway, it's giving you some idea of the distance and all, the size of the coma and everything, but you could very clearly see the tail. Normally they will have two tails, and this one did. You just can't see it in this image. This is the one that is the trail of the comet, but they will have another one that, like if it's going beside the sun, not pointing directly at it, it will have an ion tail coming from the direct angle. It will be lighter and a little less distinct, but you're not seeing it here, but it did develop a very nice one. But let me just pull up the text to show you the description of these two images. Now, this is Ison again, but it said at the time of the Hubble observation, that's the two blue images you just saw, the comet was 4.15 astronomical units, or 386 million miles from the sun. Now, you're dealing with 4.75 AU for Jupiter. You see what I'm saying? It's inside the orbit of Jupiter by quite a bit, actually. Said the comet was 4.24 AUs from Earth, or astronomical units, 394 million miles. But again, it was inside, just like Atlas is now, that orbit of Jupiter. And so we should be getting some of the same type images, especially with, they think now it's at least twice the size of Ison. And using pretty much the same software I used in 2013, it's a little more advanced now, but it was looking deep into the center of Comet Ison, and I could tell that it was multiple objects because of the hot spots. But what I'm looking at here, this is Atlas. This was, I did this, I think, yesterday. Anyway, there's no really tail to it. I've got the brightness slightly enhanced, and that's part of the glow in the rear. But guys, it is not showing much of a tail at all, and it's as close, if not closer, as Ison was in those two blue images, and the tail was very clear. Let me show you a kind of a reverse, and we can look at where it's pushing the heat signature and things like that. And when you do the reversing and the different aspects of this, of any type of image, you can start to see different things that are basically hidden unless you filter away certain other things. And what I'm seeing here, this is the forward section of the movement of this object. Again, it's almost perfectly round and there's no tail. Again, so a lot of this is a little bit of glare because of intensifying it. I don't see multiple heat sections in this object. It's one round one. That's what I'm seeing, no tail. Why would that be occurring if it's twice as big as Ison and as close as Ison was during those pictures? Now, here's a Hubble picture of Comet. Again, they're calling it 3I Atlas. You now know the real name. But it's right here in the center. Now, you're seeing this scattered light around it, just like you were seeing in the images I was using. What you're seeing in these images is because they're focused on the movement, and so it's blurring the stars. You understand what I'm saying? You've got a blur there, and if it was all sitting still, you would be seeing the movement of Atlas itself. But again, this is Hubble. Now let's take a look at some images, actual moving on this thing. And what you're seeing right here is just a slight movement being picked up. You see two bright stars here and here, and coming down right through the center. You see that? That is Atlas. There's no tail, it looks like the movement of an asteroid. I've seen a lot of asteroids exactly like this through some of the other satellite images. And again, that's what it looks like to me. You get different information each day as this comet gets closer, whatever it is, it gets closer to the sun. And in this article, they're saying it's 7 miles wide, the largest interstellar object ever seen. New photos from Vera C. Rubin Observatory reveal. It says detailed photos from the newly operational Vera C. Rubin Observatory has revealed that the recently discovered interstellar object 31 Atlas is roughly 7 miles wide, making it the largest of its kind ever seen.
Wow.
Now, here's a list of some of the things that have been talked about. And I'd like to add one for myself, and that was the one I just talked about the missing condition code from the actual data from JPL for the comet. The condition code, again, 0 to 9, 9 meaning highly uncertain of where it's going. 0 means they know pretty much where it's at. That entire section is missing, first time ever. Anyway, here's what they do have. It was discovered July 1st by the Atlas Survey Telescope in Chile. It's confirmed as an interstellar object receiving the designation 31 Atlas. It is also known as C2025 N1 Atlas, and that's how you look it up. They're saying it has an interstellar origin, and its path indicates it originated outside of our solar system. It sure did. Tracing its path backwards suggests it may have come from the Milky Way's thick disk, which contains older stars. Cometary nature. Observations reveal 31 Atlas is an active comet with an icy nucleus and a coma, a cloud of gas and dust. It shows indication of water and ice and silicate grains in its coma. That's a glow around it. Where's the tail? Then it's going to make its closest approach to the sun, or called perihelion, around Halloween, October the 29th, as a matter of fact, at a distance of about 1.4 AU. Slightly further, guys, than the distance between the Earth and the sun. The Earth is 1 AU, and that's 93 million miles. And it will be, again, inside the orbit of Mars. Its closest approach to Earth will be in December of 2025. It's coming in from our, if you're looking at the sun from the Earth, you're looking west, right? Sun's coming in, that would be to your south. Right, yes, to your south. Now, as it gets closer to the sun, it's going to be harder and harder to see. Right now, they're getting telescope images of it, but when it gets close enough to the glare of the sun, it will be very hard to spot. It's going to go past it, not really around it. You saw a slight bend in that angle. And then as it gets further away after December, into that area, you'll start to be able to pick it up in the night sky over to the right side, to your right instead of the left. But again, they're saying that it's about 7 miles, they think, wide. Now think about this. These are the 3 interstellar objects that we know about. But we didn't start finding them till 2017 in October. Remember, was it Oumuamua? The first identified interstellar object discovered October 2017. It exhibited an unusual elongated shape and a reddish hue, similar to objects found in the outer solar system. Its trajectory and high velocity confirmed its interstellar origin. Despite its close pass by the sun, it lacked a cometary tail. That's what I'm saying. It looks more like an asteroid now to me, but it's bigger than these objects. Let's see, it says it lacked a tail, which led to initial classifications as an asteroid before observations of non-gravitational acceleration pointed towards it behaving more like a comet. Its exact nature remains a topic of scientific debate. In other words, they have no clue, but it was tumbling. It was not a comet. If anything, if it was completely natural, it was an elongated asteroid, big hunk of rock spinning. Then there was 21 Borisov, and this was up into 2019. The second interstellar visitor, unlike Oumuamua, Borisov exhibited the characteristics of a comet, including a coma and a tail, when it approached the sun. its path confirmed its interstellar origin. Now, here in July 2025, 3-1 Atlas, the third and most recently discovered interstellar object, again, July of this year, this month, as a matter of fact. Initial observation suggests it is also a comet. It is much larger than the previous two interstellar objects, estimated between 4 and 5 kilometers, with the potential to be as large as 20 kilometers. Now, they're saying sub or 7 miles, and what is that, about 11.1 kilometers, something like that, guys. So it could be closer to 10 miles wide.
Wow.
It was observed to be traveling at a remarkable speed, further solidifying its interstellar origin. Then we don't know what it is yet. Some people are saying there's been some kind of strange movement and things like that. When we get a little bit closer to some of the observable satellite images, guys, or telescope images, we may know more about it. As again, we've only known about it for 26 days. But this is what I found out, and it is amazing to me. I don't think we're going to have any problem with it striking our planet. Now, coming up in, I'd say, let's see, in the next 7 years, there are a couple of objects that could hit our moon. And what they're saying, when that happens, we will have a whole new meteor shower made up of pieces of the moon. Now, what did I talk about last night in the video? About the moon controlling so much the tides and the balance of the earth, and then an impact coming from an asteroid that could shake it and hit it with the power of many nuclear bombs. I may let me see if I've saved that particular article. Hold on one second. Now, this is one of the objects. This one's called an asteroid 2024 YR4. It's supposed to hit the moon on December the 22nd, right before Christmas, in 2032. So that's 7 years. Earth could experience a rare meteor shower made entirely of moon dust. Astronomers at the University of Western Ontario have analyzed what might happen if the 60-meter wide rock, that's this asteroid they're looking at, slams into the lunar surface. In a new paper, they report that the impact would release energy equivalent to 6.5 megatons of TNT, blasting a kilometer-wide crater and ejecting up to 100 million kilograms of lunar debris. Now, talk about knocking the balance of the moon off slightly. And what will be the concurrent effects on our planet, tides and things like that. But things are coming. I don't think Atlas, we have to worry about it. The only problem would be if it had a lot of objects with it. You can barely see it now from Hubble, but they have been known to have what they call a debris trail. But that would be more affecting something besides our planet, possibly out into the Jupiter area, or probably later on in the orbit of Mars because of its path. But right now, we're not sure what it is, and it's going to be kind of interesting to keep an update on this thing going, just to try to find out if we will ever know. We don't know what Oumuamua was yet, or maybe they do and they're not telling us. I've heard one thing that with both Oumuamua and Atlas is that it may have been some type of probe. Who knows? But we're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.
Some probe of what? What's gonna probe? Like, that's wild. You know, it's the energy, man. There's things coming our way, and we don't even know. We're just so consumed by media and by things that are happening here daily. You know, it's just, there's things out there that we don't even know that could be possibly threatening us. And we won't even know until the last minute. They won't tell you until the last minute. Yeah. And this object, whatever it is, supposed to pass our nearest, is going to be on October 29th. So A lot of things can happen between now and then. Got another little medicine here rolled up. Ready to smoke. And let's see what else we got here lined up. I got a few things that we could watch. And then I'll wrap up the show because I'm not going to make it too long. But let's check out this one. I want to check out this one. Give me 1 sec to set it up. Okay. Here we go. Let's check this out.
Greece has had enough of illegal migrants using their shores as a ticket into Europe. The small nation is defying Europe's lax policy on accepting illegal immigrants making the dangerous voyage across the seas from the Middle East and Africa on small boats, finally shutting the door and turning them back.
Greece has started rounding up and arresting illegal migrants. These guys who arrived in Crete from Libya were hauled onto a bus straight to a detention centre. The country recently declared it would suspend all asylum applications from North African countries and set to work as soon as the law was signed. Hundreds of mainly men had arrived in one day, but the Navy and buses were there ready to detain them.
The Greek immigration minister did not mince his words when speaking to Parliament about this issue, very clearly saying illegals are not welcome.
Η ελληνική κυβέρνηση, ο Έλληνας Πρωθυπουργός ο Κυριάκος Μητσοτάκης θα πάρει όλα τα απαιτούμενα μέτρα για να προστατεύσει την πατρίδα μας από αυτό το οποίο γίνεται.
Online commentators applauded this firm stance, saying, Greece just showed what leadership looks like. No loopholes, no excuses. Secure the borders. Protect your people. It's not complicated. Time for the UK to wake up. This commentator agreed, saying Greece just did what every other country has the right and duty to do. Protect its people, enforce its laws, and shut the door on the globalist border scam. Brussels can whine all it wants. The people are done being overrun. This comes after hundreds of men arrived from northern Africa on boats, but instead of being allowed to freely walk into Greek towns, they were hauled up by the Coast Guard. And illegals are now promptly bussed back by police.
Wow. Yeah, look at these young guys.
Unsurprisingly, the illegal migrants are not happy about the situation, yelling in protest. And commentators from the UK are envious of the new laws in Greece, with GB News host Alex Armstrong saying, Greece has just passed new laws. If you are an illegal migrant, you can go straight to prison for 5 years or be given a ticket home. They've already started deporting hundreds of them. Why can't or won't our government do the same?
Whoa.
Former UK Border Force Director General Tony Smith is hopeful for Europe, saying Greece's new laws signal a changing of the tide.
And I think, you know, we are seeing a wind of change, aren't we, in Europe, not just in Greece, but in a number of European countries, which are swinging violently to the right. We've had 10,000 in Crete recently just arrived. They are saying Crete is completely overwhelmed, Martin, 4,000 in the last week. What the new minister is saying is he's going to detain them all and deport them all, which is actually what I've been saying we need to do. We need to detain everybody and deport everybody to stop this. So that's what he's saying he's going to do.
And it seems these laws are desperately needed in the UK, particularly after a wild week of protests by concerned parents after an illegal migrant was charged with sexual assault on a child.
Coming down in the wind, but look, at the end of the day, I'm a father. I've got 2 girls and I've got a young boy. I'm scared for their safety in an area where we've got unvetted, unchecked men just roaming about.
Reform UK leader Nigel Farage took a page out of Greece's foreign policy book, promising to deport all illegal migrants right back to where they came from, resulting in a standing ovation from the crowd.
Everyone that comes illegally will be deported. Full stop. End of story.
But this commentator isn't so convinced, demanding details of how Farage will get this done. He said,
Same
yes,
like the
that's
US is
great, but he
doing.
needs to put some meat on the bones of this policy. How will he deport people if they destroy their passports and we don't know their nationality, or if their home country refuses to take them? These problems are
Well,
easily
you're gonna have to
solved,
push
but
him
we need
somewhere.
his solutions.
You see how they come up with excuses? Well, how about if they don't have their passports or an ID or any fingerprints that they have there in their hand? Maybe they don't have fingerprints or DNA or from their blood or urine. Like they're not traceable to where they're from. All right. Oh no. It's it's you got to get them out. You have to. I mean, you lose your country if you don't. I mean, these people are just flocking in here out of like nowhere. You know, they're just migrating. Like it's all good. Like I say, it's locusts. You know, it's like a locust. Locusts when they come, these are grasshoppers. When they come, they infest. And when they infest, they eat everything in sight. Okay. They don't leave anything like behind. Crops, forget about it. They don't even have a chance against an invasion of a locust invasion. Same thing that's happening here in the United States. That's how I feel that's what it is. This invasion of illegals is just like the locusts. They come in here, they're eating up all the food, they're eating up the resources, they're taking up all the medical, they're taking up all the housing. Our groceries are freaking extremely high because, of course, they can't keep that food to feed everyone at a lower price, so they got to raise it up high so that way less people are able to get that type of food. And that's why the inflation, that's the true inflation. And it's not because of the trade, it's because of the immigration problem we have in our country. Oh my goodness, it's not fucking rocket scientists. It's like it's very easy, and yet we have to chase around in circles to figure out the answers. It's like, no, just it's right in front of you. It's the invasion that's causing the problem. That's not only here, but this is worldwide. This is a problem that, look, Greece is handling it. Greece is gonna start enforcing like really strong, deportation or jail. You want to stay in jail for 5 years, or do you want to go to free ticket back to your home? I mean, that's what the U.S. is doing. Same shit. Gotta get them out, and it's a big operation. It's going to take a lot of manpower hours, but the past 4 years with Biden and a weak world and weak borders, and everyone just took advantage of the weak borders throughout the whole world, and it's a mess. It's a mess. But let's go ahead and go to the next story. Well, it kind of ties into what we were talking about with immigration. So let's hear it.
Right now, President Trump is overseas working on his agenda.
Jackie Heinrich joins us live from Edinburgh, Scotland, with the latest. Jackie.
Hey, good morning to you guys. The president said as he was leaving the White House, the chances of a trade deal with the EU are about 50-50 or maybe less. But he also suggested that's not quite as dim as it sounds, explaining that he would have put Japan's chances at a deal at about 25%, but they kept making concessions and they were able to work something out. He confirmed that he will be meeting with the president of the EU Commission, and he had some nice things to say about her.
Ursula will be here, highly respected woman, so we look forward to that. We'll have numerous executives that we're meeting with. We're going to be meeting with a lot of people. A lot of people will be staying at Turnberry, and then we're going to Aberdeen, which is the oil capital of Europe, actually.
If no deal is reached, the president said he will impose 30% tariffs on EU imports on August first. If it comes to that, the EU is ready to retaliate with 30% tariffs on more than $100 billion worth of U.S. goods, including bourbon, soybeans, and airplanes. European diplomats reportedly expect to land on a 15% baseline tariff before that deadline, after a plan for a 10% baseline mirroring this arrangement we have with the UK was reportedly scuttled. Trump told reporters that the EU is going to need to buy down their tariffs from that 30% benchmark he imposed, where there are about 20 sticking points left to work out.
We're also meeting with, as you know, the head of UK, Prime Minister, and I look forward to that. But we're meeting in terms of a deal. We're meeting with the European Union, and that would be actually the biggest deal of them all if we make it.
Ursula von der Leyen said she had a good call with Trump before he landed. They are expected to meet tomorrow. For the rest of today, he remains at Turnberry, the golf course, with no public events on his schedule, guys.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks, Jackie.
You know, and obviously one of the problems that Europe is facing that President Trump has dealt with here in the United States is immigration to the continent. And he had some pretty strong words for Europe about needing to finally settle down and deal with it. This is what he had to say.
But on immigration, you better get your act together. You're not going to have Europe anymore. You got to get your act together. And we, you know, as you know, last month we had nobody entering our country. Nobody. Shut it down. And we took out a lot of bad people that got there with Biden. Biden was a total stiff. And what he allowed to happen, but you're allowing it to happen to your countries. And you got to stop this horrible invasion that's happening to Europe, many countries in Europe. Some people, some leaders have not let it happen. And they're not getting the proper credit they should. I could name them to you right now, but I'm not going to embarrass the other ones. But stop this immigration is killing Europe.
So in one of the president's last trips to Europe, Stephen Miller went with President Trump and came back and told us that one of the things that all of these European leaders came up to ask about was, how did you do this with immigration? How did you seal the border? How did you pull this off in America? And clearly indicating that I think that probably the tide is shifting over there as well, where public sentiment is turning hotly against this idea of open borders.
And they're turning against it because, for exactly what you said, they had this idea that we couldn't stop it. And now they're looking at Donald Trump, at President Trump, and what he's done. So I had Santiago Abascal from the Vox Party on Fox Noticias this week, and I asked him about this because they're having terrible problems. We interviewed him about an elderly man who was beat up by an illegal immigrant from Africa in this town, and you know, this whole country and especially that region are up in arms about this. And how do we stop it? And they're looking over at us and they're going, this guy stopped it in 6 months. So I asked him, I said, is this inspiring, you know, Spain? Can you guys, and he was like, yes, what's happening in America is not just, I mean, they knew they had a problem, but now they have proof that you can actually fix it.
And the other thing that Europe is missing, the reason why it's been slower is they don't have free speech. When you don't have free speech, you can't talk about this stuff. And so it's so obvious when you go to London or you go to Paris. I think these are fallen cities, unfortunately. Yes. They're husks of their former selves. I mean, going to London, it's just a big museum. And it's not the city or the place it used to be. And it's because of mass unlimited third world migration without assimilation. And that is the key. We're all for people that assimilate. You talk about this a lot, Rachel, right? But if you do not assimilate, that is a takeover.
Yes.
And President Trump is now able to say this. By the way, this has made huge European headlines because he's not afraid of any of these free speech laws. But make no mistake, one of the major reasons we've been able to restrain and restrict migration in America is because we can speak about it. In Europe, they are terrified that they'll get a knock on the door for hate speech and end up in prison for saying one bad thing of a thought crime.
And one
crazy.
Little thing about
That's why I'm not going to UK.
The United States, you're right. We do have free speech, but they managed to silence everybody, and everybody was afraid to say anything about it. And it took Donald Trump was the first person to come out and publicly say, nope. I'm going to talk about this. I don't care how uncomfortable it makes you. We're going to talk about this. And then you look from, you know, when what he said in that first speech in 2015, And then you look all the way to today, he was the one that opened the aperture so that people of free speech.
But it wasn't just that people were afraid to talk about it. They were paid consultants misinforming politicians about it, saying,
Rachel.
you will lose Hispanics, you will lose the next election, the browning of America, all this kind of stuff. And it turns out Hispanics are like, hey, thanks a lot, Donald Trump. When you close the border, we get less crime. Our resources, our hospitals are now going to be for Americans and not for illegals who come across the border. And so I think that there was also a very sinister, cheap labor lobby that was absolutely poisoning the politics.
On both sides of the aisle.
And in the,
on both sides of the aisle.
Yes, absolutely. No, I actually, I resent it more on the right
I
than the left.
totally agree. And super quick, in the UK, the argument they always make is we need mass migration for GDP growth. Well, they're not going to have a nation if it continues.
That's right.
And God bless President Trump for going straight into the UK and throwing it down and hopefully inspiring a bottom-up populist movement
That's the
to
way it'll happen.
restrict mass migration to Europe.
That's what happened here, bottom up.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I
Wow.
want you to do me a favor. I want you to
I
click
think
to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube.
It's a big problem that's going on, and it's an invasion. You know, it's an invasion, and the people that are running the show don't care. You could tell they don't care because they're not doing nothing really about it. I mean, they don't even follow their own laws. They rather silence you and throw you in jail than to listen to you and do something about it. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. Let's see. What story can we go? Let's go to this one here. Let's just set it up real quick. All right, here we go.
Attacks on immigration officers. 2 illegal immigrants were charged this week with shooting a border agent in
That's
New York
wild.
City. Another was charged for allegedly attacking officers with scissors. And one man in California was arrested for throwing rocks at agents. Now, ICE is expanding its use of GPS-enabled ankle monitors to track those facing deportations. For more on all of this, we're going to bring in CBP Senior Advisor Ron Vitello. Ron, great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for inviting me.
So it's kind of hard to keep up with all the headlines with everything going on these days, but it seems like every week we have some politician referring to ICE as Nazi or Gestapo, terrorists, kidnappers. Assaults on agents now up more than 800%. We've seen rocks thrown at agents. We've seen agents shot at out here in California a couple weeks ago. Ron, ICE agents have been texting me feeling like if the temperature doesn't cool down soon, they're worried somebody is going to get killed. Do you share that concern?
We are very concerned. The front line and their families don't need this kind of stress. After all, what they're doing is the mandate of the voter who elected Donald Trump, who put Kristi Noem in charge of the Department of Homeland Security to secure the border, which CBP has done in dramatic ways, and initiate the largest deportation effort that we've ever seen in the United States. They're doing their jobs. They are enforcing laws that are on the books, and those laws have been on the books for decades. It's now time to correct the chaos of the past in the Biden administration and protect America by cleaning the streets, making America safe again, and keeping that border locked down.
And when we talk about, interference with these federal agents, I'm sure you saw the story out here in Southern California yesterday. There were 2 medical workers who were arrested by federal agents. There was a viral video out here from earlier this month where you can see it right here, these medical workers were physically blocking and impeding ICE from arresting a Honduran illegal immigrant who ran into their surgery center in an effort to get away from ICE. He wasn't a patient there. Well, now they've both been charged with 18 U.S.C. 111, impeding of federal agents. They're both arrested. They're both in custody, and they're both looking at potentially up to 8 years in federal prison if convicted. Is this the kind of message that you think the U.S. attorney out here should be sending, that, hey, if you interfere with our agents, there's going to be some serious consequences?
100%. We are grateful of the Department of Justice leaning in on arresting the individuals that attacked our CBP officer in New York. And in this case, these people impeding these agents from doing their job. The individual that they were trying to arrest ran into that hospital, endangering everybody that was on that site. Our officers, the ICE officers, went in there to make it a lawful arrest. And these folks got in his way, and now they're being charged federally for impeding federal officers. And that consequence needs to be enacted across the board. Politicians need to tone down the rhetoric. The propaganda in the press must end, and we should stop pretending that immigration laws on the books are not to be enforced, because they are on the books, and it makes us all safe. And the people that get in the way are going to pay the consequences. And those consequences are important about what happens when people continue to try to invade, or people that get in the way of lawful activity by federal law enforcement officers.
And Ron, the so-called Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, back in the headlines this week. He's facing those human trafficking charges in the state of Tennessee. A federal judge there said he can be released on bail, but then you had a separate federal judge in the state of Maryland saying, okay, well, once he's released on bail, ICE, you're not allowed to arrest him. She is blocking the Trump administration from arresting him once he makes bail.
What?
In your opinion, what authority does she have to do that? This is a federal judge in Maryland telling ICE in Tennessee, you cannot make an immigration arrest, an immigration arrest of an illegal immigrant. Your thoughts on
that? That's activism at the highest order. Someone's a robot, a community that's on the bench. That is extra constitutional. There are 3 branches in government. Her job is to rule on the law and the facts that are in trials. She cannot tell the executive branch, ICE, Frontline, or the president himself, by extension, who he cannot let in the country or arrest who's in the country illegally. There's thousands of officers who do criminal alien arrests all over the country. I did it when I was young in my career. The judge has no bearing on this. If they want to bail somebody out who's in the country illegally, we took those folks into custody. That's what should happen in this case. And I hope quickly this gets reviewed by a higher court, including the Supreme Court, because this judge is way off the.
Ron, got about 30 seconds left here. I do want to ask you about your by that illegal in New York City. We've heard he's recovering. Final word to you doing right now.
He's on the mend. We're prayerful for a full, complete recovery so he can come back to .cbp.gov. We need help to sustain what we're doing in the interior and on the border. So I want people to visit the vision that we have to make America safe again.
Yeah, and again, both of those illegal immigrants involved in that attempted robbery and shooting of that agent caught and released at the border by the Biden administration, something we've seen far too many times. Ron Vitello, great to see you. Thanks for coming on this Saturday.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm telling you, these stories, they get crazier and crazier and crazier with this border and having these illegals. And this is every day. Every day is going to be a story. Every day is going to be something new. It's like, it's overwhelming. It is. It's very overwhelming. Let me check this out here. I want us to watch this. Let me set it up. I got a couple of more to watch, and then I'll wrap it up. I got a couple of Tyson's. Tyson did a couple of videos, and I see he has paid promotions in there, so I'm gonna fast forward through that, so that way we don't get to see all those commercials. I'm one, I don't like commercials because I pay the premium, so I don't like to be bombarded with commercials. It's something that I just don't like. I don't like the commercials. Let me clear off some of these windows that we already watched. Let's see, let's get that out the way here. I hope you guys are having a good weekend. At least you're enjoying it with me. Some of you are. And those who are watching later, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I got a couple of ones to watch. We still got a bunch of Tysons. There's like 3 Tysons we got to watch. I got a video on alligator Alcatraz. Individuals in there are calling 911 from inside. So that'll be something to listen to. And I got one of Benny Johnson to see here. And let see what's this one here. The Bongino one about the truth, and this one's alligator eye. Okay, let's go to the Bongino first, and then let's just get that out of the way because it's only 2 minutes and 34 seconds long. So we just speed past through that one, and then we'll go to the alligator Alcatraz. That'll be interesting to listen to.
We'll get you right back to that House hearing on the One Big Beautiful bill coming up in just a second. But I do want to take you out to a story that we brought you a bit earlier, as we do have this post coming in, some calling it cryptic, from the Deputy Director for the FBI, Dan Bongino. I do want to read it to you in full. This is just a portion of it here. He says, during my tenure here as the Deputy Director of the FBI, I have repeatedly relayed to you that things are happening that might not be immediately visible, but they are happening. The director and I are committed to stamping out public corruption and the political weaponization of both law enforcement and intelligence operations. It's a priority for us, but what I have learned in the course of our properly predicated and necessary investigations into these aforementioned matters has shocked me down to my core. We cannot run a republic like this. I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned. We are going to conduct these righteous and proper investigations by the book, and in accordance with the law, we are going to get the answers we all deserve. As with any investigation, I cannot predict where it will land, but I can promise you an honest and dignified effort at truth, not my truth or your truth, but the truth. God bless America and all those who defend her. Respectfully, Dan. Again, Dan Bongino posting that, but not specifying exactly what he is referring to. Reports did circulate of a recent disagreement between Bongino and Attorney General Pam Bondi over the Epstein files, that making headlines very recently here. Now, Laura Loomer was among the far-right activists saying that Bongino was planning to resign from his position, though obviously that did not happen. When asked about recent reports regarding that and any disagreements with FBI Director Kash Patel, Bondi explained that she would not discuss personnel issues, but did say she worked very closely with Patel. Again, Bongino not specifying what he's referring to in the post, and it's not clear if he will have any follow-up posts here, but if he does, we will make sure to bring those to you. Again, he does say, quote, we are going to get the answers we all deserve, adding at the very end that he will get the truth, not, quote, my truth or your truth, but the truth. Again, if there are any follow-ups here, we'll make sure to bring those to you on Live Now from Fox.
Okay, so my question is, give me 1 second here.
Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, announcing this week that she
close it out. I don't want to hear about this blue state bullshit. Yeah, I wonder what's the truth. What is the truth? You know, these days the truth is manipulated. Like, what is the truth? Because they say what they say, and then we're supposed to believe that's the truth. What is the truth? Why it taking so long to be so truthful? So everything else was a lie? We're living in Alice in Wonderland, you're telling me? Maybe. I tell you, this Wonderland is a weird place. Very weird. Let's go ahead and go straight to CNN, because I don't like CNN, but you know, I gotta be fair and balanced. So we gotta listen to their bullshit. So this is a report on alligator Alcatraz. Alligators. I feel bad for the alligators. Damn, Rick. I don't feel bad for the illegals. They know what they did and they got to go back. So it's just not my problem. But the alligators, because they're native there, and they're like, man, what the fuck, man? Why are you bringing us fucking dinner? Like, that's y'all teasing us, bringing this, like, all this meat here. This like looks so delicious. This is like a buffet. like for a gator. Oh my god. But yeah. Let's see what they have to say. I bet they're saying it's disgusting conditions. There's roaches and rats and mosquitoes, and it's like a pig pen. Everything's all disgusting. It just tells you the people who are going through there how disgusting they are, and they don't keep up with themselves. That's like given. If you don't take care of your area is going to be a fucking pig pen. So yeah, if it's all dirty and all messy, then that's on y'all. You guys are not clean. You guys are disgusting. And you guys got to leave because we don't need this type of people in our country. Imagine if they do that to that facility. Imagine what they do here in other homes throughout the country. Oh, man. It's just not a good situation. But let's go ahead and listen to... Let me be fair and balanced, right? Let's listen to CNN.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says deportation flights have started leaving the so-called Alligator Alcatraz facility.
So-called.
There were 100 detainees on the
That's
first
what it's
flight.
called.
Said it's
Alligator
unclear
Alcatraz.
where they're going.
It was never intended to be something where people are just held and we just kind of twiddle our thumbs. The whole purpose is to make this be a place that can facilitate increased frequency and numbers of deportations of illegal aliens.
So this facility is in the middle of the Florida Everglades. It's surrounded by really dangerous wildlife. So with the help of 3D models and the testimony of detainees, we're getting a sense of what life is like for the migrants there. Check out this investigation from CNN's Priscilla Alvarez.
This is sad, hopeless. It's a type of torture.
These are the stories of migrants held at
That's
Alligator
torture.
Alcatraz, a new detention
That'd be
facility
crazy.
deep in the Florida Everglades.
That's a new
Using a plan
facility.
of the site shown
How's
during
that
President
torture?
Trump's visit and photos from media tours and social media, CNN created a 3D model to take you inside the site, where hundreds of immigrant detainees are being held. Here are the giant tents where people report being crammed into cells made of chain link fence, packed with bunk beds.
Okay.
CNN spoke with 8 detainees to hear firsthand accounts of what
Yeah, and they're
conditions
waiting
are
to be
like on the
deported.
inside.
What's the problem?
Some asked not to be named for fear of retribution.
They look like they're not
Because of
sleeping
the
on the
way that
floor.
we have been treated, it has been a very terrible experience.
Gonzalo Almanza Valdez was detained by ICE when he showed up for a meeting with his probation officer.
32 people per
Probation
cell,
officer.
per cage, really, because this is a cage. It's a metal cage strapped in with zip ties.
3 open toilets are shared by dozens of men who say there's no running water or sewage system. Roger Moreno, who has lived in the U.S. for more than 30 years, told CNN the rain makes it worse.
The toilets, when it rains, they overflow, and the cells we're in fill up with sewage.
Every time it does rain and storm, the toilets clog up.
Detainees told CNN the lights are kept on 24 hours a day.
We can't sleep. I have to personally put a rag on top of my head to at least try to take a nap because the light is so bright. There's 24 LED lights in the roof, and it's like shining bright.
Juan Palma Martinez has lived in the U.S. for more than 20 years and was also picked up by ICE at a routine meeting with his probation officer.
I no longer know when it's daytime or when it's nighttime. I don't sleep. It's affecting me mentally and physically.
The tents aren't sealed. You can see cracks in this image. And at the height of the
Well, then they
hot
can see when
Florida
it's
summer,
night and daytime.
that means the insects are relentless.
Yesterday, the air conditioning went out. We had the whole morning without air conditioning. Lots of mosquitoes came in because they get in from all sides.
Multiple detainees say they don't get enough food, though they're served 3 meals a day, and that water is limited.
Scan our bracelets, so we go into the food hall. The food is very terrible here. Very, very, very small portions. People are having a hard time living here because they're starving. Probably like a quarter cup of rice.
So then they need to go home.
We've eaten as late as 10 at night. The food at night is cold, too. There's never a hot meal.
Showers are located in a separate tent, and opportunities to shower there are scarce, according to the detainees we spoke with.
All the showers are connected to the same water source. There's barely any water pressure. So we have to literally put ourselves on the wall right next to the water drainage so we can at least get hit with water.
They follow you when you're walking to the shower with your hands on your head, as if you were a prisoner. The water is very hot, very hot. They don't give you enough time. Mosquitoes are biting you in the shower. There are more mosquitoes than water.
The only line to the outside world are phones set up in the cells.
I can believe that.
Nobody here has been able to see a loved one. Nobody has been able to see a lawyer here. Nobody has. It sucks. It sucks. There's no physical contact with the outside world other than these phone calls. It's not really more about me. It's about not being able to see my son. He's 6. He's about to turn 7 in November. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to see him for his birthday.
Republican and Democratic lawmakers recently toured the facility. According to one of them, they were not permitted to speak to the detainees. Then State Senator Blaise Ingoglia, a Republican, said the facility is in good order.
It's actually a very well-run facility. The idea that the detainees are in there and they're in squalid conditions is just not accurate.
But most distressing for detainees, they say, was that in multiple cases, they haven't appeared in any state or federal detention system since they were arrested. That means families have been unable to track them.
We're in the middle of the Everglades with constant reminder that we're locked up in a cage and anything can happen. A hurricane can hit us and we can all die and nobody would know.
In a statement to CNN, a spokesperson for the Florida Division of Emergency Management said the following, quote, "As stated many times before, these claims are false. The facility is in good working order and detainees have access to drinking water, showers, and facilities for hygiene." Now, Florida officials anticipate that the population of detainees at Alligator Alcatraz will grow over time to include thousands more. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is in talks with other states who are looking to the makeshift facility in Florida as an example of how they may approach migrant detention. Priscilla Alvarez, CNN, Washington.
She doesn't look too happy.
President Trump's immigration
Okay, 1 second. Let me. What is the story? Who's this from? Maybe we'll watch it. Channel 4 News. What's the Alligator Alcatraz, the U.S. Detention Center in the heart of the Everglades. Yeah, well, I guess we could watch this. It's only 6 minutes long. And then I'll go to the next story. But okay, we'll just watch this one. Let me just set it up.
Down ramping up with sweeping raids across the state of Florida.
They promised it would be spectacular. Now Trump's hardline immigration agenda has its latest flashpoint.
Alligator Alcatraz has officially opened its doors.
Poisonous snakes, fierce and hungry alligators.
People will die here! People will die here! We're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator.
It's an abomination. It's shameful.
Dawn, and we're heading deep into the heart of Florida's Everglades. It's in this vast subtropical expanse of wetlands uniquely that this now infamous detention center lies. The area's been home to 5 generations of Gladesman Marshall Jones's family, and it is teeming with alligators.
Alligators' first warning is a hiss. Secondly, they'll let out a chuff like a lion. And then thirdly, they'll snap their jaws together. That jaw clap is really their final warning before they attack. When an alligator comes after you, it's going to be teeth first. And if they get a hold of you, they don't let go.
No one escapes past these alligator cops, Trump has gleefully proclaimed, while Florida's Republican Party sells Alligator Alcatraz merchandise.
There's alligators everywhere, of course. I mean, they're the star of the show, right? But certainly inhospitable to a detainee should they happen to get out.
It is a makeshift temporary detention center for undocumented migrants on a little-used airfield. Its heavy-duty tents and sleeping pods for staff put up in just 8 days. The cages for the hundreds already detained here, inspected recently by an admiring president.
This is an amazing thing that they've done here.
Then denounced as inhumane by local Democrats.
This place needs to be shut the hell down. It needs to be shut down.
It is so telling that this name, this crude nickname, Alligator Alcatraz, has now actually been embraced as its official title. This place is hot, humid, rich in mosquitoes, and it's become totemic in the whole debate on immigration in America. New shower units are still being brought in, and by the entrance, some look on appalled.
It's an abomination. It's shameful. The Constitution is being spit on a daily basis.
Wait a minute. These illegals don't have any rights under the Constitution. So what are you talking about?
But got no answer. So try a more direct approach at the entrance checkpoint.
Hi there. Is it okay to go through?
And are given short shrift.
We're a news crew from British television.
Hey, they're taking pictures.
Don't take a picture. Right, we'll turn around. We'll turn around here. You can't tell me how many people are being detained here at the moment?
I don't even know.
Numerous immigration lawyers tell us they also can't get access here to see clients. Another lawsuit has just been filed.
So no access for us. It's very difficult to know who's actually running this place. And all of the imagery coming out of it is being very heavily controlled.
When we finally get through to the agency running the center, they tell us lawyers must schedule appointments in advance with detainees who they claim have access to phones.
The people united will never be divided.
An annual civil rights demonstration in nearby Miami yesterday evening.
The people united.
It's where we meet one of several Democrats given a tour recently of Alligator Alcatraz.
It's an inhumane, unnecessary waste of taxpayer dollars without any accountability.
Dottie Joseph, a
You're
Haitian-born
put a lot
lawyer.
of money in
Nobody
yourself.
on the tour was authorized or allowed to speak directly with detainees. One of my colleagues heard one gentleman scream out that he was a U.S. citizen. We heard outside people chanting "Libertad, Libertad," which is freedom in Spanish.
It was Florida's Republican Attorney General who came up with the name.
As I call it, Alligator Alcatraz.
We asked him and other local Republican politicians for an interview, but no one was available.
The Democrats' hysteria here can be described as nothing other than insanity. Here they are crying and screaming and protecting illegal aliens, many of who, as you just described, have committed some of the most heinous crimes.
But vast numbers detained, the Miami Herald reports, don't have criminal convictions. One estimate puts undocumented migrants in Florida at over 1 million. Many now scared, living in the shadow of the state's rush to embrace Trump's drive for mass arrests and mass deportations.
You better not let like a Hurricane Andrew.
High that they scared that they're gonna be taking away from their family, from their children.
They are not going to schools. They're not going to work. They're not going to church. They're literally inmates in their own home. And then you're going to put them in a place that's surrounded by alligators too? It's crazy.
Step down flat-footed.
But for some, like the intrepid Marshall Jones,
there could be an alligator over 10 feet, possibly 12 feet, hiding. That could be a gator behind me that just splashed.
And you're not worried?
Nah, he's far enough away. I'm good.
Uncomfortable as he is with Alligator Alcatraz being here, it serves a purpose.
There hasn't been enough done by other administrations up to this point to curtail the infiltration of illegal immigrants. Nobody wants to be the administration that has to do this, but unfortunately it has to be done. And this administration has the wherewithal to do it and the means to make it happen.
With Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill now freeing up billions more for immigration control, his border czar is promising enforcement on a level never seen before. Opponents describe a sense of dread. As other states, it said, now deem Alligator Alcatraz a model to emulate.
Wow. That's I tell you, it's something. Let's check this story out.
are getting a better sense of the kind of 911 calls coming out of Alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah, that's right. Through requests, NBC6 has obtained records that show a pattern. NBC6 politics reporter Hatzel Vela is here to break it down and what the documents show. Hatzel.
So yes, this is the list of emergency calls from Collier County to the so-called Alligator Alcatraz, a small glimpse into what's happening inside. Since July 1st, when the state-run Everglades Detention Center first opened, there have been 34 calls, an average of 2 per day, and just 2, according to records, were medical calls. 4, what they call special contract calls, another 4 labeled as legal advice calls. But most of the list is a category labeled unknown problem. There are 11 of those calls. Today, the governor talked about what's been happening at the facility.
We've had folks that have been deported from that place. And I anticipate as we get into next week, I think you're going to see that pace increase.
The governor is now one of the defendants in a newly filed lawsuit that alleges people detained at the detention center are not getting access to their attorneys.
If they're not able to talk with their attorneys, they're not able to challenge their actual detention or their immigration cases. And then the only way out really from that facility is deportation.
The state argues detainees have access to phones and are free to contact their attorneys anytime. But to see them in person, attorneys must schedule an appointment in advance. So far, all the attorneys we have talked to say that's not the case.
And who
Today,
remembers
the governor
some of
said
these
this when asked about allegations those at the detention center are not getting due process.
So when they get processed, the first thing that happens is they are offered an all-expense paid trip back to their home country.
When the detention center opened, the president claimed only the worst of the worst would end up here. But PolitiFact has found these claims are not true.
The majority of Alligator Alcatraz's detainees actually do not have U.S. criminal convictions.
A Herald report found that of the more than 700 detainees, only a third, or 233 people detained, have criminal records. The state has yet to release detailed information about who's being held at the facility. And we're now learning several Democratic members of Congress from right here in Florida have filed a bill that would shut down the facility. But as you can imagine, in a Republican-controlled House, the bill won't likely get any traction. Reporting in the newsroom, Hatzel Vela, NBC6 News.
Wow. That's pretty wild. Let's go to Benny Johnson next. Let's watch Benny.
What's up, guys? Benny. One of the most shocking revelations in modern political history was Nancy Pelosi's eyebrows when she appeared on TV about this time last year. It's one of the reasons why I'm really sad Tucker Carlson's show is taking off the air because, well, this was Tucker's reaction.
So yesterday was Sunday. You may have found yourself on the couch, idly flipping around the TV dial. And if you flipped far enough, you could have had the shock of your life. Michael Jackson was on Face the Nation. Now, to be clear, this wasn't video of Michael Jackson performing his hit songs in the 1990s. This appeared to be a living version of the international pop star that news reports claimed died of a drug OD more than a dozen years ago. And yet, despite those claims, there he was, fully, undeniably Michael Jackson talking on television. How can that be? Honestly, we have no idea. We're not theologians here. This is merely a news program. We can only show you what we saw. Here it is.
There's nothing more to do than protect our Constitution and our democracy. But the Republicans are...
Hold on, let's pause it right there. Oh no. Oh no, they gave her the roach antenna eyebrows. Oh no. She reminds me of the movie Ants. Oh no. This one's a Bug's Life for sure. Oh no. Nancy Pelosi, man, what happened to your eyebrows? They look like McDonald's arches. They look so bad that you were in a fight and you got punched your eyebrows upwards. Like, what happened here? Girl, who did you dirty? Someone did you dirty, girl. I mean, those are tattooed on. I mean, you can laser them and fix it. I mean, you're going to have to take some time off to get that done but that's something that, girl, you need to fix those eyebrows. Oh Lord. Oh, what is that? What is that? Man, look at those commas. I mean, that looks like a freaking slide, like a McDonald's slide, because it kind of looks like a cat's ears. You can see like it look like cat's ears. I don't know. What would you call this? Like, because you can tell she has facelift. That's why the eyebrows are pulled so much back, because she has facelifts done. She has probably had a lot of facelifts done. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, let's get back to Benny Johnson. That's crazy.
They're doing across the country is really a legislative continuation of what they did on January 6th, which is to undermine our democracy.
It's not the only time that Nancy Pelosi has been humiliated on national television. For instance, once she was so drunk she couldn't walk.
Holy shit.
Not AI. That totally happened. George Floyd's funeral.
Oh my God.
One time Nancy Pelosi forgot where she was.
As I said, on Friday, I started there early for voting, the day that we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
She did literally. She forgot that the interview had already started. Look at George Stephanopoulos' face. He can't believe what's going on. Anyway, Nancy Pelosi isn't doing any better, right? So, like, you could argue, is this better or is this better? Dear,
oh my God,
gracious lady,
what's going to her?
What the hell is this? Brand new Pelosi just dropped, ladies and gentlemen, and plastic surgeons everywhere are screaming. What the hell is going on? Nancy Pelosi is now 86 years old. That's way longer than the median lifespan for an American woman or any American. And it's like, but she's still like clinging to power. And she's clinging, I'll tell you that. She's responding to Hunter Biden, who went on a scorched earth rampage about how Pelosi stabbed his father in the back and destroyed, obviously, his presidency. I'll play that clip in just a second. Perhaps you've seen it. But since this video is about Pelosi, I think I'll play Pelosi's response first. Now, this is something that's been out in the open many, many times, been written and reported about many times. That Nancy Pelosi was the one behind with the dagger in the back to Joe Biden. You saw it on national TV. You saw it everywhere. Nancy Pelosi immediately turned on a heel after Joe Biden's debate performance and started going on TV wondering about Joe Biden's cognitive capacity and so on. And then, like, seeding sort of poisoning the apple, so to speak, against Joe Biden. And now here she is having to answer for that sin of which the Biden family is calling her out for.
Any second thoughts about what happened last summer or with
I don't have any second thoughts, but I do have a second thought about the Republicans. If they want to measure mental acuity or sanity, they ought to look to their own president, because the president of the United States, who was asked one question and answers by saying President Obama is guilty of treason, he is not of sane mind. But no, I have no second thoughts. I think that he was a great president. He accomplished remarkable things in a 2-year period where we had the majority. He had accomplishments that were seen in the same light as LBJ and Franklin Roosevelt. He didn't have as long a tenure as they did, but he had the quality of legislation, make a difference in people's lives. It's unfortunate that it went down this path, but I think that history will treat him well, because he did great things for our country. A super patriot, loved America, honored our Constitution, a big contrast to what we have now.
Well, first off, she really looks like she's on death's door.
Yeah, she looks horrible.
You love these people. Mitch McConnell's, Nancy Pelosi broke her hip, right? She fell down a flight of stairs. I don't want that to happen. I'm not wishing any physical harm to Nancy Pelosi at all. That's just what happens when you're old. Same thing with Mitch McConnell. He fell down a flight of stairs, cracked a bunch of ribs. Mitch McConnell's down a wheelchair. Nancy Pelosi's in a walker or a wheelchair, depending on the day. And it's clear, like, I mean, look at this. And you can grab, the screenshots here. What is this? What's going on with her face? What is this exactly? You can see like her face. What's that? What's that? Look at that. It's a real shot of Nancy Pelosi. There it is. You want to know how we get our thumbnail images? You just got to find the right frame. What the hell?
Yeah,
I mean, so you could say it's the plastic surgery, but sure as hell looks like a stroke to me.
What's going
Nancy
on
Pelosi
here?
stroking out on camera. She has every reason to. Obviously, Hunter Biden is now doing a rampage through about everyone who knifed his father. He went after Pelosi, went after George Clooney, went after everyone, and just burned it all to the ground. Here we go. We got to get over. We broke our finger off hitting the bleep button on this, but here's Hunter Biden on his rampage.
Opinions, but him, and everybody around him. I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not a actor. He is a I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well. You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great place in Lake Como. And he's great friends with Barack Obama. You. What do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full page ad in the New York Times to me and James Carville, who hasn't run a race in 40 years, and David Axelrod, who had one success in his political life, and that was Barack Obama. And that was because of Barack Obama, not because of David Axelrod. And David Plouffe, and all of these guys, and the Pod Save America guys, who were junior speechwriters on Barack Obama's Senate staff, who have been dining out on the relationship with him for years, making millions of dollars. The Anita Dunns of the world, who's made $40-50 million off the Democratic Party. They're all going to insert their judgment over a man who has figured out, unlike anybody else, how to get elected to the United States Senate over 7 times, how to pass more legislation than any president in history, how to have a better midterm election than anybody in history, and how to garner more votes than any president that has ever run. And they're going to replace their judgment for his. Not to mention, who's Jake Tapper's audience? Jake Tapper, my mom or something. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Yeah. For real though, I don't even think it's your mom anymore. No. By the numbers, what influence does Jake Tapper have over anything? He has the smallest audience on cable news, and beyond that, I think that the book is right now on Amazon that he put out. I mean, his ratings just went to shit after he put the book out. They did a 2-week infomercial for it. I mean, it was such a money grab, such a disservice to everybody that he serves with.
So yeah, what do you say, Nancy? I want Joe to know it was me. Look at this. Pelosi, Trump is not of sane mind, and Biden was the greatest president. Got it. I don't think anybody's buying it. Nancy Pelosi plastered at some summit she's speaking at. This is the leader of the Democrat Party. She's at it again, huh?
But also their employees, their customers, the community they lived in. So about 30 times. Stakeholder capitalism. Now, we've moved to shareholder capitalism, where the CEO of the company is making like 300 or 400 times what their workers are making. It would take some of our workers
when an angry liberal woman does this,
a lifetime
you're
to make
the dumbest thing.
A lifetime to make what the CEO makes in 1 year.
Lady, you're worth $200 million on a $100,000 salary in Congress. And that's a rich salary for what you do. And she's sitting there complaining about CEOs. It's like the insider trader of all time. Wild. Pelosi said Trump is not of sane mind and that Joe Biden's like FDR. When is Nancy Pelosi going to take a cognitive test? She looks terrible. She needs to lay off the vodka. Nancy Pelosi. Biden's actually a great president. She's drunk again. Pelosi drunk, slurring through interviews. Look at that frame. Gee whiz. Nancy Pelosi speaks out about Joe Biden's legacy, calling him a super patriot. Walking ad for term limits. Exactly right. goodness. Holy moly. I regret to inform you Nancy Pelosi is drunk again. You know what? It's great to just see the meltdown. It's great to see the flames. It's great to see all of it on fire. Let's keep it going. I don't like any infighting. I guess it's like, I guess it's par for the course. I don't like the infighting though on our side. Keep it on them. Keep the focus on them. Keep the focus on them. Right? This is a nightmare. It's a very entertaining nightmare though. I'll tell you what.
Crazy. Her eyebrows was giving me grief.
Yeah.
Her eyebrows was serious. Oh, I was panicking. I don't know. I think she is having like a minor stroke or something because her lip came up like the Joker. That shit came up like up to her chin on one side, and the other side was just like, I don't know. If that's not like a medical something's happening with her. I mean, at least it was caught on video. So, hey, Seven, how you doing, buddy? Doing good. 3 hours in. I'm tired a bit. It's Saturday. I decided to come on a little early. Let's go to the Tyson because I got 3 of my buddy Tyson's shows to watch, and we're gonna watch it back to back to back. So let's see what he has to report. It's always good. He does really good reporting. He's good people, friend of mine, and I like to showcase him here. So let's go ahead and watch Tyson De La Cruz.
Massive fraud in the state of Minnesota and what's being done about it.
Federal agents conducting raids at 8 offices and homes yesterday, the latest in a series of high-profile investigations.
America, we just got confirmation of what might be the biggest government fraud scandal in U.S. history. The acting U.S. attorney for Minnesota just admitted that the government fraud in Tim Walz's state will exceed $1 billion. We're talking about fake autism centers, fraudulent housing programs, and the infamous Feeding Our Family scheme, where criminals claim to feed 1.6 million meals to children who didn't even exist. But here's the kicker. 1 out of 5 autism centers in Minnesota are currently under federal investigation, and the vast majority of the $100 million in housing claims are completely fraudulent.
Stolen tax dollars. We've learned the scope of government fraud investigations in Minnesota could exceed $1 billion. And that staggering number comes from acting U.S. Attorney for Minnesota, Joe Thompson.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This is what happens when you elect Democrats who care more about virtual signaling than actually protecting taxpayer money. Tim Walz's Minnesota has become the fraud capital of America. Let me break down this absolutely staggering revelation. U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson sat down for an interview and basically admitted that Minnesota has become a criminal enterprise moonlighting as a state government.
I see $500 million in prosecutions just from your office alone. Is that accurate?
I think it is. Yeah, absolutely.
$500 million just from his office alone. And when asked about the total scope, Thompson said it will exceed $1 billion. Think about that. An entire $1 billion stolen from taxpayers in one state under Tim Walz's watch.
And when his prosecutors finish their investigations, acting U.S. Attorney for Minnesota, Joe Thompson, tells me he expects the scope of fraudulent use of taxpayers' money will exceed $1 billion.
Thompson called it an extraordinary problem and said the fraud that's persuasive in this state is unlike anything he's ever seen. This isn't just a few bad actors. This is systematic, organized theft of taxpayer money on an industrial scale.
To me, that's astounding. How do you describe that?
It's an extraordinary problem and the fraud that's pervasive in this state.
You know what's crazy? While we're talking about billion-dollar government fraud schemes, there's another system that's confusing and full of people trying to take advantage. Medicare. If you're 65 or older, you've probably experienced the same kind of over criminals did.
He's going to tell you on the...
Now back to the autism center scam. Here's where it gets absolutely criminal. 1 out of every 5 autism centers in Minnesota is currently under federal investigation for fraud. These are supposed to be places helping vulnerable children with autism, but instead they're criminal enterprises stealing Medicaid money.
Medicaid claims from 450 providers totaled $220 million last year.
$220 million in Medicaid claims from 450 providers last year alone. And according to Thompson, the vast majority of these claims are fraudulent. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars being stolen from programs designed to help autistic children.
However, in 2021, that rose to 21 million. Then by 2024, taxpayers were footing the bill for $104 million.
Look at this explosion in costs from 2.6 million when the program started to 104 million by 2024. That's not organic growth. That's organized crime moving in to exploit government programs.
According to the search warrant, many of the kids receiving autism services at Smart Therapy did not appear to be autistic. The warrant alleges Smart Therapy hired young relatives who had no formal education and who were usually just on their phones all day.
While billing Medicaid for autism therapy that never happened. And get this, they were even billing for kids who were in Somalia, Jordan, and Kenya at the same time. But the autism fraud is just one piece of this massive criminal enterprise. The Housing Stabilization Service program was supposed to help seniors, disabled people, and those recovering from addiction find stable housing. Instead, it became another ATM for criminals.
Minnesota's Housing Stabilization Services program began in 2020, and according to a warrant, those committing fraud would, quote, recruit Medicaid-eligible individuals who are experiencing housing instability and sign them up.
Here's how the scam worked. Criminals would recruit vulnerable people experiencing homelessness and drug addiction, sign them up for the program, then immediately start billing Medicaid for services they never provided.
According to a search warrant filed in Minnesota District Court, fraudsters would recruit Medicaid-eligible individuals experiencing housing instability and sign them up for the program. Investigators say providers billed the government for services and, quote, immediately began receiving large Medicaid payouts, end quote.
Homeless people struggling with addiction. The most vulnerable people in society, homeless individuals struggling with addiction, were being exploited by criminals who use their information to steal millions from taxpayers. These people got little to no help or services while fraudsters got rich. And here's the most infuriating part. Many of these fraud schemes are connected to the same criminals who ran the Feeding Our Future scam. The FBI raids on autism centers revealed that at least a dozen defendants from the 250 million Feeding Our Future case owned and were associated with the autism clinics.
Now, the 61-page federal search warrant details just how deep this new scheme goes. And new court documents show at least a dozen of the defendants charged for their role in the Feeding Our Future scheme owned, received money from, or were associated with autism clinics.
These are the same people who stole 250 million claiming to feed children who didn't even exist, just moved on to stealing money from autism programs and housing assistance. It's like a criminal franchise operation.
Since 2017, Medicaid reimbursement claims in Minnesota skyrocketed from just under 2 million to more than $250 million.
From 200 million to 250 million in Medicaid claims. That's not program growth. That's organized crime taking over the entire state's healthcare system. So where was Timmy Tampon Walsh during all of this? The guy who was supposed to be Kamala Harris's running mate was presiding over the biggest government fraud scheme in American history, and he did absolutely nothing to stop it.
So I've become friends with school shooters.
Since February, GOP Representative Kristen Robbins has led a new committee at the state capitol to address fraud.
In the first week it was open, I think we had like 530 reports.
Since then, well over 700 reports of alleged fraud on this new website.
Over 700 reports of fraud in just the last few months. And this is just what they know about. Acting U.S. Attorney Thompson admitted.
There's a little bit of the tip of the iceberg here. Every time we look under a rock, we find more.
When asked if things are getting better, Thompson couldn't even say yes. I'm pretending to say that, yet I'm hopeful, he said. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement of Walsh's administration's fraud prevention efforts. America, what we're seeing in Minnesota under Tim Walsh is nothing short of a complete breakdown of government oversight and accountability. Over $1 billion in taxpayer money stolen through fake autism centers, fraudulent housing programs, and the infamous Feeding Our Future scheme. 1 out of 5 autism centers are under federal investigation. Criminals billing for services to kids who weren't even in our countries. Vulnerable homeless people being exploited to steal housing assistance money. And the same criminal networks running multiple fraud schemes across different government programs. This is what happens when you elect Democrats who care more about appearing compassionate than actually protecting taxpayer money. They create these massive, poorly supervised government programs and then act shocked when criminals move in to exploit them. Tim Walz was supposed to be a folksy Midwest governor who would bring competence to the Harris ticket. Instead, he was presiding over the biggest government fraud operation in American history while doing absolutely nothing. The only reason why we're finding out about any of this is because federal prosecutors are finally doing their job. But the damage is already done. Over $1 billion stolen from programs that were supposed to help the most vulnerable people in society. This is our government on Democrats, America. And this is why we can never let them near power again. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you
Internet's acting a
on the
little
next
weird. It's a little wonky. The internet is a little weird there at the end. Crazy, right? What a big scheme, man! Freaking Tampon Tim comes in and just it was all set up to destroy like the United States from within, you know, with these parasites. And it's sad that all the Democrats like fall into that mess, and it's just not a good sight for the future. I mean, the thing is, like, I feel like now it's like everything's being exposed, like everything is, the truth is coming out, and it's wild. Let me set up the next video here. We're gonna watch another Tyson De La Cruz production. We're gonna watch back to back to back, and we're gonna watch it together.
President Trump has signed a new executive order aimed at cracking down on homeless encampments.
America, President Trump just signed a massive executive order that's going to completely transform how we deal with homelessness in our country. We're talking about clearing out homeless encampments nationwide and moving 771,000 homeless Americans, including 278,000 living on the streets, into treatment facilities. Attorney General Pam Bondi has been tasked with overhauling all the legal protections that have allowed these camps to flourish. But here's the kicker. Cities that refuse to enforce camping bans will lose their federal funding, while those that comply get priority for federal grants.
Executive order. The president now wants it easier for communities to remove homeless people from the streets and relocate them to a shelter or treatment center.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. No more enabling drug addicts and mental illnesses on our streets. No more treating public spaces like open air asylums. Let me break down what this executive order actually does. Trump is directing cities and states to clear homeless encampments nationwide, saying that they pose a threat to life, health, and community safety. This is true, and he's using federal money as a stick to make it happen.
This EO stresses that states and cities need to adopt policies for dismantling homeless encampments, just like the ones you see right here.
The White House is fast-tracking federal funding specifically for communities that crack down on illegal public drug use, urban camping, and track locations of sex offenders. If you want federal grants, you have to enforce camping bans. It's that simple.
The White House also fast-tracking now more federal
I
funding,
agree. A lot of things are being
communities
exposed.
that put a priority on this.
According to the White House,
It
more
needs
than
to be.
270,000 people live on the streets in a single night on average in 2024. That's nearly 280,000 Americans living in tents, under bridges, and encampments because Democrat policies have enabled this crisis instead of actually solving it. So which cities have the biggest homeless problem? Let me give you the Hall of Shame. California dominates the list because their policies have turned the Golden State into a homeless magnet. Los Angeles leads the nation in over 75,000 homeless people. That's more than the entire population of most American cities. New York is second with 88,000 people in shelters, but they hide their street homelessness better than California does. Speaking of cities failing citizens, let me talk to you about something that affects us all, our digital privacy. While we're watching these liberal cities enable chaos on the streets, they're also tracking everything you do online. Your internet provider, your local government, even that coffee shop Wi-Fi. They're all monitoring digital activity. That's exactly why I use CyberGhost VPN.
Goes VPN.
Diane Radishat was hoping the fight over homeless encampments around her senior apartment complex in Seattle was over.
Seattle is another disaster zone. Diane, who lives in senior apartments, thought that the city had solved the encampment problem after clearing up a massive camp last year. But now RV encampments are back on her streets. And she says there's consistent drug activity day and night.
They promised us as a community that we wouldn't have to continue with this. And that is not happening.
Now, an RV encampment is back on this street between the senior apartments and a Metro park and ride.
The stop and go traffic day and night for the drug activity at these vehicles, constant.
Here's what the media won't tell you about the homeless crisis. It's not primarily about housing costs. It's about drug addiction and mental illness. In Seattle, police just arrested somebody dealing meth and fentanyl out of an RV encampment, and look what they found.
They arrested somebody who was dealing drugs, meth, and fentanyl out of an RV in an encampment there. Take a look at this picture they posted with some of the guns that they seized from that person as well.
Guns, drugs, and stolen property. One resident said that there were close to 80 bikes around, all stolen. You know you have a homeless problem when bicycles, mopeds, and shopping carts are around.
There was so many bicycles around it. I mean, I'm talking close to probably like 80 bikes around it, you know.
People here said the camp was a constant nuisance, and police say there was an operation going on where someone was reselling stolen goods.
A contractor working in the area says he constantly watches his tools because he says you turn around and you don't know if you have a couple $1,000s gone from your truck. This is what happens when you enable drug addiction instead of actually treating it. For years, these liberal cities have tried the compassionate approach, allowing camping, providing free needles, and treating drug addiction like a lifestyle choice. The result, the homeless
the free needles and stuff
exploded
was
by
crazy.
18% in just 1 year, reaching 771,000 people.
Tension building in Altadena's burn zone. Fox 11. Residents now worried about squatters setting up camp on charred properties.
In the fire-ridden Los Angeles, the situation has gotten so bad that squatters are now taking over properties of these fire-damaged areas. People who lost their homes in the fire are worried about criminals moving into their burnt-down lots while they're trying to rebuild. Diane in Seattle perfectly captured the frustration of ordinary Americans. We've literally had enough, she says. The city promised her community that they wouldn't have to deal with the encampments anymore. But guess what? Nothing's changed.
Everyone we talked to said they hope people without housing can be helped. But the main issues here aren't the homeless, but the unlawful activity around encampments.
We've literally had enough.
Trump's executive order focuses on moving homeless people into treatment facilities for mental health and addiction services. This is the key difference between the Trump approach and the failed liberal approach. Trump wants to treat the underlying problem, not just manage them. And you already know the opposition is already complaining about these policies could lead to forced hospitalization and that some of these people might be unjustly locked away. But here's the reality: leaving severely mentally ill and drug addicted people on the streets to die isn't compassionate either.
Those in opposition say these new policies won't solve the overall issue and could lead to forced hospitalizations.
The executive order also blocks funding for supervised drug sites. You know, those harm reduction programs that basically enable drug addicts to provide safe spaces to shoot up. Trump is cutting off federal support for programs that make the problem worse. America, Trump's homeless executive order represents a fundamental choice between two approaches. We can either continue the failed liberal policies of enabling drug addiction and mental illness on our streets, or we can actually help people by getting getting them into treatment. 771,000 Americans are homeless and 278,000 living on the streets. That number has grown 18% in just the last year under liberal policies that treat camping in public as a civil right instead of addressing the root cause of homelessness. Cities like Los Angeles, Seattle, and San Francisco has spent billions of dollars on homelessness and conveniently just made the problem worse. They've created a system that enables drug addiction, tolerates criminal behavior, and turns public spaces into open-air asylums. Trump's approach is different, using federal funding to incentivize cities to clear encampments and move people into treatment facilities. Stop enabling drug addiction and start treating mental illness. Stop tolerating criminal behavior and start enforcing the law. The people living in senior apartments like Diane shouldn't have to deal with drug dealers operating out of RVs parked outside their homes. Contractors shouldn't have to be worried about thousands of dollars in tools being stolen from encampments. Families shouldn't have to navigate around human waste and drug needles on public sidewalks. This executive order gives cities the choice: enforce the law and get federal funding, or continue enabling chaos and lose your taxpayer money. Real quick, before you guys leave, that CyberGhost VPN deal is legit. While liberal cities are failing to protect you on the streets, you can at least protect yourself online. 38 million users trust it, and right now it's basically pocket change at $2.19 a month. If you value your digital freedom and privacy, click the link down below. Your future self will thank you. Let me know what you guys think about all this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Hey, you gotta hustle. You gotta make money. You gotta pretty much sell. Only way to make money, especially on YouTube. It's like it is what it is, you know. It's that's the way the system is on YouTube. Sell yourself, and here's your pennies, and they'll throw it to you like that too. They were like, oh man, we got one more of Tyson. And then I think I'm gonna call it a night. This is Saturday night, and people should enjoy their Saturday night. I need a good stretch. I've been on here for like 3.5, and I'm like tired. We're coming towards the end of the show for sure. I'm not used to these long shows, but it's entertaining because I like to watch these programs and just educate yourself, you know, other people's, you know, reporting and how people are acting up in the world. That's what we got to learn. Every day is a new day. So let's watch the next one of Tyson De La Cruz. This is the last one. Then I'm done. I'm done. I'm throwing the towel. I am done. So let me set it up here. Okay, and then let's come over here. And all right, here we go. Let's watch this.
Hollywood and the music industry joined forces to raise money for victims. $100 million was donated. Maybe you even gave to this cause. So 6 months later, how is that money being used?
America, we just uncovered one of the biggest charity scams in recent memory. The Fire Aid benefit concert raised $100 million to help victims of the LA fires. But months later, fire victims were asking a simple question: where's the money? It turns out the Anna Berg Foundation that controls the funds only distributed $3.2 million to actual fire relief. But here's the kicker: they funneled $159 million to other nonprofits owned by the same person who runs the foundation. This is elite grifting at its finest.
All direct donations will be distributed under the advisement of the Annenberg Foundation. According to the IRS 990 form, the Annenberg Foundation is a 501c3 based in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. in this lovely office.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story perfectly illustrates everything that I've been telling you about the nonprofit industrial complex. It is a massive scam designed to make college-educated elites rich while the people who actually need help get nothing. Let me break down this absolutely insane story. After the devastating Palisades and Eaton fires, Hollywood raised $100 million. Fire victims like Mark Jones, who lost everything, were featured in testimonial videos during the concert.
I'm basically starting at zero. I wish it was just a terrible dream, a nightmare, but this is real.
So Mark Jones tells his heartbreaking story to millions of viewers, helps raise $100 million, and then what happens? Absolutely nothing. He's been trying to figure out how to get help ever since, and nobody will give him a straight answer.
And Mark Jones, he's here now on set to share his story. The Fire Aid concert happens.
And I was actually expecting to some type of reach out or something to let us know that we're here to help you. And I been searching and trying to figure that out since.
Meanwhile, the Annenberg Foundation, the group that controls all this money, brags on their websites that they've been distributing a whopping $3.175 million to fire relief victims out of the $100 million that was raised. That's barely 3% of the money actually going to help the fire victims.
Since the fires began on January 7th, the Annenberg Foundation, led by Chair Wallace Annenberg and its directors, with the foundation's community grant making team, has committed and begun to pay, $3.175 million to more than 50 nonprofit community partners.
So you're gonna ask me, where did the money go? This is where it gets absolutely criminal. The Annenberg Foundation, run by Wallace Annenberg, took that $100 million and funneled $159 million, yes, you heard that right, to another nonprofit that Wallace Annenberg also owns and operates.
Almost 2 weeks later, a woman got back to me and she said, I'm sorry for the delay. The person you need to speak to is Chris Wallace. He's a media spokesperson for wildfire funds. So I contacted Chris and I said, victims want to know when they can get their money. Seems like a very simple question. Mm-hmm. He said, basically, they don't. All this money are going to nonprofits, and then nonprofits will take care of making sure the money's distributed.
Let me show you how this scam works. In 2023, the Annenberg Foundation gave 4 grants totaling $1.9 million to Wallace Annenberg Legacy Foundation, then gave another $150 million grant to the same foundation, and another $1.1 million plus an additional $4.1 million that wasn't even listed on their main filings.
When you go through, I would urge everyone to just go to the nonprofits that are listed. If you want a good laugh, I mean, one of the nonprofits cleans preschool bathrooms. Well, after the fire, who knows? Maybe there is a preschool bathroom that needs cleaning. Yeah.
This is the nonprofit equivalent of money laundering. You raise money for fire victims, then you funnel it into your own other organizations. And then suddenly you're rich while fire victims get nothing. But wait, it gets worse. While fire victims are living in their cars, executives of the Annenberg Foundation are getting paid like a Fortune 500 CEOs. The top dog, Cynthia Cannard, makes $735,000 a year, plus a $135,000 bonus. That's nearly $900,000 a year to run a charity. The second in command, Allison Holmes, gets paid $359,000 plus a $90,000 bonus. The treasurer gets $333K a year. And get this, they spent $1.2 million on travel conferences and meetings in 2023. They gave the Philadelphia Orchestra $2.7 million while fire victims got crumbs.
What they do is, on paper, it's legal, often because they'll take the money, but then they just run these bloated, fat administrative functions, executives taking huge salaries, as she mentioned, and like so much stuff for expense reimbursement and all that administrative stuff. And then the actual percentage of the donations that they raise that go to the actual cause is sometimes less than 10%. And that is shameful.
Compare this to the Doctors Without Borders, which spends 90% of their money on actual programs and less than 1% on administration costs. The Annenberg Foundation spends only 33% on actual charity work and the rest on executive compensation and administrative costs. When fire victims and journalists try to get answers about where the money's going, they get the classic nonprofit runaround. People are referring to mysterious extension numbers, promised callbacks that never came, and told to contact a guy named Philip with no last name who can never be found. Meanwhile, Mark Jones, the guy who was featured in the promotional video, is still trying to figure out how to get help. He finally got in touch with somebody, and they told him that FireAid does not have the capability to make direct payments to individuals, and that was never the plan.
As a newly formed 501c3, FireAid does not have the capability to make direct payments to individuals, and that was never the plan. To deliver aid into the community, we partnered directly with trusted local nonprofits.
So let me get this straight. They pay their CEO nearly $1 million a year. They give $2.7 million to an orchestra, but they can't help a fire victim whose stories they use to raise money in the first place. The FireAid scam is just the latest example of a much bigger problem in California. Remember, this is the same state that spent $24 billion on homelessness and somehow made the problem worse. Where did the money go? Oh yeah, that's right. The same nonprofit grifters who are now stealing fire relief money.
California's response to the homeless crisis. The state auditor says the state has spent $20 million in 5 years, but can't meaningfully track the spending or measure results.
This is what happens when you have elite overproduction, a bunch of college graduates with fancy degrees who can't find real jobs. So they create these nonprofit scams to get rich off of other people's misery. They did the hard work of getting educated, so they think that they deserve to be rich, even if it means stealing from fire victims.
This FireAid money is not helping the people. It's helping nonprofits, many of them who have executives that are getting a six-figure salary. The money is not going to the victims that you wanted the money to go to.
America, this FireAid scandal perfectly illustrates everything wrong with the nonprofit industrial complex. We have fire victims like Mark Jones, who lost everything, featured in a promotional video to tug at heartstrings and raise money. Then that money disappears into a black hole of administrative costs, executive compensation, and grants to other organizations owned by the same people. $100 million gets raised, $3.2 million actually goes to fire relief, and $159 million gets funneled to the foundation owner's other nonprofits. Meanwhile, the CEO is making nearly $1 million a year while fire victims are starting from zero. This isn't charity, it's organized theft. And it's happening all across California with homeless funding, education funding, and now fire relief funding. These nonprofit grifters have figured out how they can get rich by exploiting people's generosity and good intentions. The solution is simple. Prosecute these people for fraud. When you raise money for fire victims and then funnel it into your own other organizations while paying yourself $1 million salary, that is stealing, and people should go to jail for it. Mark Jones and thousands of other fire victims deserve better than this. They deserve to have the money that was raised in their name actually go to helping them rebuild their lives, not funding some nonprofit executive's luxury lifestyle. Let me know what you guys think about this.
Crazy.
Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the
That's a
like
good
button
show,
if you
Tyson.
kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you
Oh, the
on
internet
next
again.
one.
Internet always tries to a little crazy, but thank you, Tyson. I mean, it's true. You know, these people don't care. They abuse the system. They use the system, and they don't care who they're helping or not helping. As long as they're helping themselves and getting paid, make shit. Someone like the CEO making over $700,000 and over like 130,000 in like bonuses and stuff. That's like probably more than that. So you're looking possibly like a salary like $1 million a year. That's incredibly like crazy. And the fact that it's supposed to be nonprofit, you're supposed to be helping the ones that are affected by these fires, and they're not even getting a penny out of the concert that was raising money for their needs, and yet they're not even getting anything, period. Oh man, what a That's nice. Might as well kick me in the balls. That's pretty much how it feels. Like kick me in the balls. It's a kick me in the balls moment. California, man, you guys are a mess. You keep voting Democrats. That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get screwed, and you're gonna continue to run this over and over and over again until you guys learn that that party is just not the party for you, the people. But with that said, I'm gonna get off of here. I'm tired. It was a good run. Thank you for Tyson for pretty cool back to back to back to back. It's 3 backs. um, Good content. He's a great creator. You got to go over there and subscribe to his channel and give him a like on his shows because they're really good. He puts in the work and he's doing really good. And for everyone here watching, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I'm tired, so I am gonna get off of here. So everyone have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night wherever you're at. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And we'll see tomorrow what time I come on. Depends how I feel. I've been feeling a little groggy, a little out of it, low energy. I've been feeling very low energy for some reason. I'm just very exhausted and have been sleeping a lot lately. It's just not good. But that's how my body's just acting up. Is acting very tired for some reason. But with that said, thank you again and good night. I'll see y'all later. Peace.